acknowledge the American Revolution. I now declare this meeting in session. Elaine, may we please have a devotion from you?
Yes, and this comes from a wonderful thing that Gina gave me. I think it'll pass on to all the chaplains, but it's a book called The American Patriots Almanac, and each day of the year has something historic that happened on that day. So I looked up October 24th. And so I'm not going to read the entire thing of this, but this is really cool. October 24, 1861 is when the transcontinental telegraph was completed across the country. And it was the Western Union Telegraph Company. The Congress had put out a challenge. We'll pay you $40,000 a year if somebody would just link both sides of the country. And so they did. And there was already telegraph on the west side that went as far as Carson City, Nevada. So they had to ship all their stuff around the Cape Horn or whatever, because there was no Panama Canal, and truck supplies, and then start building it there at Carson City, Nevada. And then the other end had ended at Omaha, Nebraska. So you'd think Nebraska to Nevada, like there's just, on the map it's just a couple inches, but it's a couple inches across a lot of arid stuff, and they need wood for poles, and they're like, how am I going to get the poles for these telegraph companies? And so they went to the Rocky Mountains, or they went to wherever they could and found poles, but they got that whole thing strung in a pretty quick order. So they started it that summer of 1861 and finished on October 24. So that was pretty quick work.
That was quick.
And then the country was linked. And what was happening in 1861?
Civil War.
Civil War was getting started, and so
Northern aggression.
while the country was being united by communication, we were being divided by, and so I looked at that as, that could be like us now. We are united in many ways. We share the same language. We have the same financial money that we spend, but there's a lot of things that have not stayed the same. Like, are we still a Christian nation? I know that my exchange student was from Azerbaijan, and his mom said, oh, in Azerbaijan, we just attribute the success of America to being God's country. I'm like, well, then why would you not go with God? But, they're Muslim. So
That's what a mess it is.
Different God. Yeah, it's a different God.
Yeah.
But I just think it's interesting that we can look for things to share, especially with all the divisions that we have now. Look for ways that we can be united and maybe focus on that instead of looking for all the hard differences. So, Lord God, may it be so.
Amen.
First we have the Pledge of Allegiance, and the flag is way over there.
See it?
The flag right there.
No, there's a real flag over
Oh,
there.
there is.
As flag code would state.
Yeah, there we go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first order of business, Kim Shepherd. Denise resigned as registrar, as everyone knows. And our bylaws indicate that the board is to review any replacements and to appoint a replacement until the next annual meeting, when the chapter can vote on the appointment to fill the remainder of the term. So, I recommend Kim be our registrar, our chapter registrar, until the next annual meeting. Anybody have any discussions or any other person?
Remind me when that is. Is that
April.
February or
April.
March, April.
Is she qualified?
I don't know.
Did you bring a resume?
I did.
What are your
I did
credentials?
bring a resume actually.
Bring a resume?
Yeah.
Okay. So, everyone on the board is in agreement?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right. So,
Can I tell you what I've done and
you
then I'm
are
done?
a registrar.
Can I tell you where we're at as registrar?
Sure.
Okay. So,
Who let her?
I picked up the registrar stuff the last week of August from Denise. I got to work. I have finished and got signed Carla Crocs, Deb's friend. She did most of it, but had to straighten some stuff up. I have finished Allison Linehart's application. She signed today. I've completed an application that was on our PMD. The girl wants it for her grandma for Christmas. So it will be signed at Christmas. She will pick that up soon. I have another application completed. She's waiting on her mom's birth certificate, and I'm working on 2 others off the PMD. I also have, there was an application that Denise did, that Peggy did, that we have 3 letters on. We finally got the correct signatures. First one was not signed. The second one was signed on a copy, so we finally got that done. It is in, and now we got a 3rd letter. And this would make me so mad. Live birth certificate, mom and dad's names on it. They're saying maybe she was adopted, that mom has to write a statement stating that she gave birth.
That's weird.
Uh-huh.
That must be.
Mom is
It's-
pissed, and so I'm going to write a letter to the, when I send the
Why would they
AIR
think
back.
that she was adopted?
Because
Yeah, it was
the-
It's a live birth certificate because they got married
Married
4 years,
afterwards.
2 years after. She was born in 77, they got married in 80.
It was free love, baby. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm
You
like,
don't even have to have a birth cert- or a marriage license. That's,
I know, but since it was on the application and it was after, I may get that with Carla Crocs too, because her parents didn't get married until 4 years, but she's named Carla after Carlos. Hello.
PMD stand for?
Perspective.
Prospective member database. Anyway, so that's where that application
What was that
hopefully.
second name you
People
gave?
can go to the
Who is she?
National or state website
Sabrina.
and say, I'm interested.
Oh, the lawyer. Okay.
Yeah, that we've now got the 3rd letter on.
Oh, okay.
I have
78.
a lady from church who actually wants me to put you in touch.
All right.
That's in flux. We'll talk about
that's
that.
not counting marriages, it's just, right?
Right, yeah, we just have 2 applications in review now, Sabrina's and
Cool.
Carla's, and I will mail Allison's this week.
Yeah, well, I have a question on one of those applications that was sent in. Why was I not the individual to sign the application?
Peggy told me to, ask me to sign it, so I signed it.
No. Peggy asked you to sign it?
Yeah.
Denise, not the registrar?
No.
Whose application was it?
Sabrina.
It's Sabrina's.
It
So
was
Peggy
Sabrina.
did the application. The first page went in with no signatures because I think Denise said she thought they had done it all. As a registrar, it was her job to see that. So that's why we got the first letter. The second one, Molly signed it, Denise signed it, but they signed a carbon copy or a copy of the PM's original signature, so it wasn't an original. So it came back again, so we had to get a third third signing,
You've done all
or
the
second
hard work,
signing,
you know,
third page.
So Peggy used to be the registrar? Is that
But she was the
correct?
state registrar and
Yeah,
our
but I mean,
chapter
was your-
registrar.
She was your chapter registrar.
But she wasn't at the time, and that's okay, she did the app.
Yeah, it's
She was
okay to
the
do it, I
regional.
mean,
She was
yay.
It should have been, and that fell on Denise, honestly. Denise should have known who needs to sign it
So
as
she signed it
registrar.
I guess I'm confused. She signed it as registrar. Peggy?
No, Denise.
Denise signed it as registrar.
First, nobody signed it, so it came
Nobody
back.
signed it. So
And
they came
then
back and then Denise
Denise signed it and she had
Okay.
Molly sign it,
And she had Molly sign it.
but
instead
they
of asking
signed
you
it,
to sign
not an original
Okay.
signature. They
So
signed a
then
copy.
Now,
Now it's sent in again,
with whose signatures?
my signature as registrar, Patty's signature as regent, and she attested to it, which you don't have to do that attesting
have to do that.
signature,
Yeah,
no.
at the Daughters of the
Okay, so
Union,
now it's
when
done.
I went to the meeting.
Right, but then you signed it before she ever signed it, so you're attesting to something that hadn't even been done.
Yes,
But it
Peggy-
doesn't need to be
Yeah, Peggy
done.
just said,
Right.
here, since you're here, could you sign these applications? So it's
Right.
like, we need to.
But just so everybody knows, you don't have to attest to a signature, and if you are gonna sign the attesting to signature, you have to wait until they sign it, you have to see them to sign it, because you're attesting to them signing it.
I
That's,
did see her sign it though when she came in.
After.
Yeah, when you
Yeah.
came in.
but anyway, just all that to say that, as I'm back in registrar at least till March or April, let's do things properly. We don't need to sneak members into our chapter, and that's kind of what that was like. Denise kind of didn't know. She wasn't really ready to be registrar, I guess, so there we have it.
So now.
I'm willing to help anybody
Now
get an
everybody's
application
good. Yeah,
in,
see,
okay?
I
We'll
agree.
get it done correctly.
Give me an application filled, I'm like, yeah, okay.
Sure.
thanks.
Yeah, but see, Peggy didn't have access to images, and so there's things that she sent in. We
That
still will
she
probably get an AIR because I couldn't, all of that had already been sent. I can't change it after it's already been sent. It may or may not go through because she sent a whole lot of stuff, and they don't want all that
They
stuff.
don't want a whole lot of stuff. See, I've got one sitting right now.
That's what I told Deb and Carla when they were up there copying stuff. I'm like, girls, what are you doing? They don't want all
They
that stuff.
yeah.
Don't do it. Don't
Okay,
do
but
it.
now all signatures are correct, it seems, we think.
On that application, now we have to wait on Mother to sign that she actually gave birth. I said, I'd be sending a picture. Here's a stretch mark, here's a, yeah, I'll give you, I'll give you evidence.
Okay, all right, so,
Can I
That's your
be
update.
introduced, because I know everybody here, but I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just sitting here
Sorry.
interjecting crap and telling you stuff. I'm Lisa Winship, I'm the district director. I've met most of you, I've met you before, but.
Probably.
And this is, I don't know that you've met Lisa.
I possibly have not. I'm Lisa too, also.
Lisa Roller.
Yeah, okay, nice
She's
to
our
meet
our
you.
librarian.
And I'm just here to offer some suggestions and kind of, meet with you guys. You usually do a great job. You're very active, obviously a lot of new members, so. Yeah, just here to visit. I needed MCL, so.
There you go.
Yeah.
How's
There you
chicken?
go.
welcome.
I gave myself the tea with sugar. So if I make faces, it's just, I have to
Too
drink
sweet.
it.
Too sweet.
Okay, so moving on, next treasurer.
Okay. I got lots to cover, so bear with me. Let's get the easy stuff out of the way. Obviously, we did not have a chapter meeting in October, so I have not presented the September financial report. I will present both September and October when this month is done at our next meeting. But for September, just a quick overview, we started the month of September with a checking account balance of $4,450.93. We had income of $1,044. The majority of that was membership renewals, and we had one extra banner payment fundraiser come in at that point. Did I already give it to you, Patty, so you can look
Yeah,
at
I
it?
got it.
Okay. We had disbursements of, if I can read, $244.13, which left us a ending balance of $5,250.80 for the month of September. Going into October, there's been a lot more flux as far as we had more income from renewals come in, even though it was after the deadline. But we had that come in. We also had more outgo because we had to pay the printers for the banners. So when you see October, there's a lot more movement there. It looks good. The account looks good right now. A lot of that goes away when I have to pay national, but so don't get used to it is what I'm saying. Don't go ahead and spend it. I've given this to Patty but if you'll hang on to it, and that way when it's approved at the meeting, we can file it for audit as well as the other. Moving right along to all of the treasurer stuff, I need some help. Renewals came up, as you all know, and we have a huge chunk of people who have not responded or who have not responded. I have sent out multiple emails to all of them. We've had stuff on Facebook. Here are the ones, if everybody could take one down and pass it around. If you know any of these people, please let me know that you're going to contact them, because maybe a gentle nudge from us will get them in before I actually have to
You know,
pay.
I've called every single one.
I know you have. And the
But that
thing
wasn't why I
is,
called.
but see, that's the thing too. I really worry about having you do that because I don't want you to, your position
Right.
should not be a bill collector.
I always
You
start
should be
with, thank you
the,
for being part of our group.
you
and-
should
and
be
that's-
warm and
yeah.
fuzzy. You should not be your damn bills. So, the Chilsons obviously are a big chunk of that, but Mary has told me she was going to be sending it in. She's struggling just a little bit, but working on that. Moving down, I do not know.
She's also moved. She's in
I
Indy
know
now.
she's in Indy now. Well, her last name is also
I
not
don't know any of
Chilson.
these people.
I do not know Jennifer Bracken. or,
That's Kitty's daughter.
So Kitty Herndon and Jennifer.
and she has not, okay, so Kitty and Jennifer,
I think Kitty paid for it last year, didn't she?
Yeah.
she
I
did.
think
They,
she did.
all of these paid last year. Otherwise, they would not be on the list for this year. So these are the ones who have not paid for this year.
Alexis was supposed to send.
I know
hers.
Alexis told you that she would send it in.
I'll contact
And Alyssa
Alexis.
Curl, I know, is Deb Perkins' niece, and Deb traditionally pays that for her, I would imagine. I'm guessing, but with Deb moving and changing her situation, that may or may not change. We've had 2 drop out that I know of who gave me their resignations, one of them, which was Denise, as she told us, so she could concentrate on family situation. And then Dana Youngman, who is
Oh,
in
I call her, she's from.
She's Montana. She's on Montana, and it's like, if you can't get to the meeting, so, anyway.
She joined because her sister joined.
Didn't Joan Jarrett lose her husband this past year?
Joan was the one that, and that's one thing
2
we're
years
gonna
ago,
discuss
yeah.
about.
Okay.
Joanne.
Excuse me.
That's one thing, last year she was our Sunshine Fund recipient. We've not provided, keep in mind, we do not have a line item in the budget for this year or for next year specifically for a Sunshine Fund to cover it. So we have to ask the chapter 4 funds. We've got the money, but it's just asking to reallocate it. The last thing I want to do is, though, to get up in front and say, hey, so-and-so can't pay their bill, so we're going to do it for them. So it needs to be very gentle. Anything we discuss here as far as who we might offer that to needs to stay here. And I'm not opposed to Joanne. She had reached out to me last year when she couldn't pay. This year, I just haven't heard anything.
Is there anybody on the list that comes to meetings?
That's a big thing.
I don't recognize any of these people coming to meetings. So I have,
It's difficult for me,
Issue, per
it's difficult
se.
for me to pay money for somebody who's
that
just
they're
on
not
the
even-
list.
Yeah.
That's valid, that's fair.
I
It's a
get
fair
that
thought.
totally. I would much rather see it roll over to an emergency for next year or for later on, if there is somebody that we know. Again, like Joanne, when she lost her husband. Quite honestly, the one that I was going to suggest would be Michelle Lupo. You can't say it.
Luke Homing.
Even though she doesn't come to our meetings, she is so active and does
Yeah.
so many service hours for us
Give us that credit.
and was suffering quite a bit, but she paid.
Okay.
So,
What about one of the Chilson?
Well,
girls?
Mary Chilson just got married, and her husband is from Venezuela. He's a medical student. They've moved back to Indiana. He has to do something so he can take his MCATs.
She
He's a
had me-
delivery.
They're cool people to talk to.
they're great. They're great people.
If I was gonna vote for anybody on this
Yeah.
list, I'd say Mary. She will become involved, I believe. She was the one that was
So she's not
instigator
gonna be living
to.
in Virginia.
No, she actually lives here now. They've moved back.
And same with Marcia. Marcia moved back and she's not going back to college. She's actually here.
Yeah, but I think her mom will pay her, so
She
she
already
will.
paid her own.
Yeah.
Okay, Marcia paid
Elaine,
hers.
have you heard
Marcia's not
anything
on here.
Right.
From Joan Devaney? Wasn't Joan Devaney the first person to receive it? Like 3 years ago? Erica paid for it or something?
That could be.
And we have had situations where other
Yeah.
chapter members, without going through a Sunshine Fund, where we vote
That's
on
when we
it.
first started out.
And that's,
so it's not a
and that's
bad idea.
perfectly fine. I mean, I obviously don't have a problem if you want
In answer
to.
to your question,
person
I
and pay.
contact everybody on the list.
Did he-
But I
Okay.
keep track of when I have left messages, and if I've left messages 4 times in a row, which is like a year
Mhm.
of not picking up my messages, then they get an email.
That'll
You
teach
know, but
them.
that's contact, but then that's not me talking to them.
Did you
Well, I'd like-
send all these by email?
I have sent every one of these by email, a group email, 2 group emails, and 2 individual emails specifically to them. I have not picked up the phone and called because that's not me so much.
Right.
I also have thought I could just do a postcard and mail it to them. That there's not funds for it, so that's gonna be on me, and that's okay.
But
I'm
none
okay
of
with
the
that.
email addresses bounced.
Nothing,
'cause I
but
know
none of
when
these bounce back.
When I was sending out Round Hill stuff,
I had a-
bunch of stuff
Yeah,
bounced.
I've got a
I had a
record.
couple,
We
but
got
none
to
of these
work on
did.
email.
Yeah, I had to fix
Okay,
them and.
I will volunteer to call everyone on this list. I called a lot of them and got them to pay last
You
year.
did.
I was in contact because as the registrar, most of these people I have talked to. Some of the older ones, I mean Barbara Hood but Kitty, if you're all okay with that, I will take the second on this and contact
Make
them.
sure you stress to them that if they aren't going to pay,
That they need, yeah,
that
that's
they
what we
need to
did.
sign a
Yeah.
resignation,
Yeah,
because otherwise it's a drop, and
Right.
it's,
We
nobody
don't want
wants to
that.
get
No.
dropped.
No,
And, this way they can leave in good standing if they wanna come back.
Right.
So
So
that's a good
Denise
heads
and
up.
Dana are not drops, they're resignations.
their resignations, they both gave me in writing resignations. So, and you, also if you could stress on there that we need to know
Yeah. ASAP. Yeah.
ASAP, because I need to pay,
You have deadlines.
right.
Yeah.
So I'd like to recommend that we do Mary Chilson, and we can, at the meeting, we can vote for a recipient of our sunshine payment, sunshine group, whatever we called it.
We just said
Whose
it was
name
the
is
Sunshine Fund.
Yeah, the Sunshine Fund, whose name is confidential, but the need is there. And then ask the chapter to approve that.
And you say the money's there.
The money is there, we do have the money. I would second that motion. Are we
Okay,
making
you're
it as a
okay.
motion, for a motion?
Well, I'm just letting you know that I'd like to bring it to the chapter, because they have to vote yes or no or whatever.
But we need to make the presentation, we need to know who it's going to be before we go into the chapter, so,
Yeah, but you
yes.
guys can keep that confidential.
But
Yes.
by being anonymous, if somebody else came up with a sudden surprise need, we've just given it as an umbrella to the group, and, internally, we just switch it. So like, right now you have a person in mind, but if somebody else had a really catastrophic, the
Sure.
house burned down and their car broke and, like,
Right.
whatever, you could switch.
But again, the clock is ticking on that. But the clock is ticking on it, so pretty much
Right.
as soon as we get that approved at the November 4th meeting, because that's,
2 weeks.
we're right up to where I need to. And not that I can't make more than one payment to National, but it's a pain in the tuchus, and we don't
Yeah,
want that.
we don't wanna do
That
that.
does not make me happy.
Okay,
Okay, so moving-
I will call these by the end of the week.
all right.
Okay, so thank you very much on that. Moving along, because I got stuff. Our budget committee consisted of myself and Suzanne Smock and Donita Roberts. One thing that we might need to address, and I'm not sure how to do this. Per our bylaws, the budget does not go into effect until our business meeting in April. Per the state, that's what it says. It's stupid. It is stupid.
I have no doubt.
Our fiscal year starts January 1st. That means we got 4 months that basically we're frozen. We're like the government, okay? And I don't like that at all. If you want to double check,
No, I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm listening.
well, she's confused too,
It,
but yeah.
it needs to be changed.
It needs to be changed in the bylaws, or, and I know changing the bylaws is again pain in tuchus,
But better
but
than
we
frozen.
can also do, how do standing operating rules work? Can they, I know they can't override
No,
budget, or bylaws,
They
but
can be changed.
I know they
Just
can be
through chapter
changed,
vote, so it's better.
but if this is in bylaws, we're still screwed until we
It's
get
like,
that
it's like
changed.
documenting, it's like documenting your culture.
Have you sent in your bylaws yet to, oh, you have?
No.
Okay. You sent in bylaws to, okay.
Double check, make sure I am not incorrect on that. I am moving right along
This is-
like we need to have a budget in place on January 1st. There is nothing wrong with us presenting it ahead of time.
It says present the annual balanced budget for the chapter for approval at the first meeting of the new year.
But that's not
Retain all
January.
treasurer reports,
There's no meeting in January.
other financial document records.
So-
Yeah.
I like to have it done before the end of the fiscal year because I don't like that hanging over our heads. It's not right. And I think the reason why the original bylaws were written, I think our fiscal year was different.
Well, fiscal year for Samuel Bryan is January 1 through
Okay,
December
well,
31st.
then it's just stupid. Then that's paradigm.
And then we
So-
have to have it approved by the first.
State used to be
Yeah.
different. You're right. It used to be a different.
used to be
It used to not
different.
be fiscal year.
Right.
It used to be from like June to May.
Right.
And it
There's
was
a
crazy.
teacher schedule.
Yeah, it was
So-
crazy. So they moved it, changed it.
Until we settle out how you want to proceed with that, I am proceeding with the fact that I'm going to have a budget to present to the members on January, or not in January, I'm sorry, in November to vote, so that we can have it go into effect at the January
January
1st.
Just
But-
December is a party, yeah.
But the chapter would not have ample time to review it.
That's- Okay, they
Next
will.
thing, next
I'm not
thing.
done. Okay.
Okay.
I am showing you the preliminary today. Then I am going to present it to them in email, and maybe we can even put it on the members. I don't know how we should do that. Anyway, present it so they have a good week beforehand.
Well, we could put it on the Facebook page. It is closed Facebook page,
We
chapters
can
only,
decide-
and on the members only.
We can decide how you want to do that.
webpage.
But
And email it. Everybody should, I mean, that's 3 ways.
It's really excellent that you're catching this and making it.
I'm
work.
trying to. So I am handing out a preliminary budget, and I'm going to ask for these copies back because they're a work in progress. And the last thing we want, I keep saying the last thing we want, I do not want this out with misinformation without context when it's going to be worked on. So I'm asking for these to come back after we discuss them. So back to the budget committee, Suzanne, Donita, and I did a divide and conquer procedure where we divided up the committees. I worked on general funds, office administration, and officer expenses, and then we divided up committees and hit it out that way. Do you need more? You got it.
Yeah, I got contacted by both Suzanne and.
I know that, well, there was a little confusion on some carryover there.
It wasn't, no, there were two different things.
That one just, yeah, one just has highlights.
Yes, there you go.
The one with
Okay.
yellow on it is the one she wants.
So, there are some things that we're going to be discussing tonight that will make this more fluid, again, hence the fact I want it back. One thing that we're going to need to talk about, and I know Patty's going to in a minute, is some of the chapter administration amounts may have to change because of a printer situation. That's going to be a big change there. And I also have the breakdown of what each one of these, I know it's lumped together for you to take a look at right now. The income, I don't mind if you take a picture, but again, I really don't want you to share this with anybody because
Going to.
it's, well, okay. But I'm gonna email it to you as well once it gets a little
Good.
bit more. So the income situation, again, fundraising, that's probably gonna change because I'm very optimistic about what we're going to do this fall. And so we're going to be able, next week, actually, this weekend. So we'll be able to carry that over. The membership renewals, that's a little fluid too, depending on how good Kim gets. But we've obviously had some drop, and so we weren't counting on the full amount on that. Moving to the committee chairs.
Can I, on
Please.
fundraising, because you had on your agenda banners. I have a banner in there, so I'm very interested. How many banners are?
We're gonna get to that too, so we'll get
If
to that in a
that's
minute.
out of sequence, then.
It's
Yeah,
okay,
we will.
that is quite okay, we will get to that. But yes, that's very exciting news. Okay, so I'm just gonna start in it just so, because might as well get the conversation going. You'll notice that America 250 does not have a line item on there, and that's because, again, what's discussed here will make a difference. The other thing, if a committee chair did not answer any of my correspondence, which there were 4, asking for what you wanted to work on for next year, I know it is not my decision because the region is the one who assigns the committee chairs. I don't think any committee chair who does not take the budgeting seriously should be a
Oh, I take
committee
it
chair.
very seriously, Paula. It's just that it's still an open case.
It
It's
is
still open.
It is, you ignored every email, did not contact me at all. You did not ask any questions. You did not respond to any questions. So yes, it is open. I get that. And that's why I'm trying really hard to make sure the information is out there. But ignoring it isn't making it get any better. So we've got to have something to get started. So again, what we decide from there, we can adjust these numbers as need be. But just, I want to keep in mind that that is not the only committee that came up with. So I just really think that if it's not important enough for you to say, this is what I've got planned or not, then it makes me wonder how seriously you're taking the job. So, there's that.
So you're talking about proposal for next year?
This is proposal for next year.
Like how much I need for next year? Okay,
Exactly. Like for conservation, for the committees you chaired, just so that Yes, exactly. I sent a budget
Yeah.
planning tool out to everybody saying, this is what we're going to be or if you need help, all I can do is make the proposal and help you kind of get to where you need to be. It is not up to me to say we're cutting budget. That is not my
Right.
choice.
Right.
It is my duty to make sure that we are not having a deficit based on what that income is. So we've got to make it all work for everything.
So for conservation committee, I didn't put any, I put 0
You
and
put
I
0.
signed it,
And you're,
faxed it back.
which is
to
exactly what I had asked
Okay.
for, so that's perfect.
Oh, and I didn't, on literacy book club, I didn't have a budget, but I didn't sign anything. I
That's
didn't-
okay. You told me you weren't gonna need anything,
You
so,
know, in the communication for those, committee chairs or whatever, whether you have money or not, it was asked to contact the treasurer to say, either I need money, or I'm working on it, or no, I don't need, money or not.
So my
that
conversation
it's
with
not-
you was
our
okay.
conversation was
Yeah.
fine.
So
Or
it's
if,
not
had you had a
just
conversation with Suzanne or
up in the
Donita,
air.
you know, whoever contacted you, they were as part of the committee, the budget committee, so they can definitely take that and run with it. For instance, Sharon Manifold contacted me and said, I'm just not exactly sure, this is what we did before, and you know how Sharon's heart is so huge, and she said, we'll just work with whatever you give us. So she needed a little bit of help getting something a little bit more firmed up, but you gotta put the numbers, you gotta go someplace with it. Anyway, that is where we're at with the proposed budget. One thing that is a bigger change is Good Citizen. I requested that we bump that up so that our award to the winner is a little bit heftier. We've been doing 150, and I think 250 is what I would recommend. Again,
Good
recommendation.
Citizen? I'm looking at Good Citizen, you've got 170.
Good Citizen 170? Where?
That's
Look over
23rd,
to
yeah.
the
Good
far
citizen.
right.
Over here,
Good
300.
citizens.
Oh.
Oh, you were looking, yeah, you were
I'm
looking
looking at
last year.
budget, this year is 2020.
We're going into 2024.
Okay, I'm
That's
living
the
in the
farthest
past.
one
That's the
over.
farthest.
This is budget proposed.
I took me a minute.
No.
Okay, yeah.
300. So what I'm recommending is $250 as the scholarship, $50 would cover the awards,
You have to buy it.
the stuff, all the good stuff. Does anybody see anything glaring on there that you want to discuss now?
What is the 1150 on additional donation?
That
Has somebody
was-
promised that?
No, that's what came in last year and
Oh.
again, we're gonna dive into America 250 a little bit deeper, but that was the
Okay,
extra
you said any question?
money that came in.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine, that's what we're here for.
So we're,
Well,
go
you
ahead.
want to discuss it now, or what?
Sure, we can do that now if you'd like. While we're talking about America 250, why don't you take one of these down and pass them around? And this is where we're at with,
So one of each?
yes, a binder.
Oh,
This
binder.
is the 2023,
Now, is this what you sent to me?
yes. No, I sent you just that, not,
Just the one?
right, just the one page.
I don't need all of them.
Okay, okay. So this is where we're at with America 250 for 2020.
Oh, this is all the, oh, good,
Yeah, these are all of the,
okay, got it,
that's what that is.
okay.
Basically, what you're seeing in front of you, the only expenditures that are on this was from the June event, with the exception of the $129 for the Round Hill sign, just because that was originally on there and that's what's in flux. At this point, it can be changed, I'm just saying that's where we're at this point. There was discussion at the last board meeting about whether any remaining balance could be rolled over, or if it was a use it or lose it type of situation, how that worked. You'd asked me to go to the state treasurer for advice on that, and so I did. And she said, and I forwarded you the response from that any funds that were donated for a specific project, specific thing had to stay with it, had to carry through. So, yes, the short answer is anything that's remaining goes to America 250. So after, even if we take out the $129, that, so what, 316 plus 129? If,
550.
okay, so
445.32.
that's it.
Oh, wow.
There you go. So that's the amount that would have been remaining. This is based on the assumption, I know we're gonna dive in, based on the assumption that the October event would not fall under this umbrella. This is only then for what was used in June. Do you have any disputes on any of this?
That's why I was gonna ask.
Not on these
Molly,
figures, no.
good with that, the numbers?
Yeah,
Okay. If you
Okay.
take out the Roundtree Hill sign?
if you take out the Roundtree Hill, yeah.
Round
that
Hill
gives you
Tree.
that gives your committee, which she's still the chairman of, correct?
Yep.
Okay,
Yes, so far.
445.32,
Yes.
correct? And that's,
And it was voted at the last meeting that would carry over to the next year.
Was
That
that,
was not voted on.
That was.
I was not at the meeting.
It was,
No,
it was
not.
tabled until
was-
the.
It was
It
tabled,
was tabled.
that's what I understand from the minutes, is that there was nothing that was voted on, that when you ask for it to be voted on, that Deborah Fawcett and Christine
Carr, Kathy Scheib.
all said, no, it should go back to, since it had already been in discussion at the board, that it was a board decision. That's,
Yeah,
again,
it
I
is.
was not there, I'm just going off of what I've been
I have
told
to
and read.
review my notes on that
You
Okay.
amended the motion twice.
3 times, yes, several times.
So the final vote that was carried was that the chapter recommend that the executive board continue to discuss the rolling over of the funds.
That
So
sounds
the
right to me.
motion
That
carries.
sounds
So
right
it's
to me.
back to here, so, it's restricted donated funds that should be carried over.
It-
It's
okay.
clearly that.
It is clearly, the funds are for America 250, no doubt.
Not restricted.
That's,
Not
They're-
restricted.
they are for
That was
the
the
committee.
problem that the people, the ladies in the chapter had, because you kept referring to restricted
Restricted
funds.
funds.
They're donated
they
to American
had-
250.
Right.
To be
They,
used for American 250, and if there's anything not used,
I'm
should be
just
moved
saying that
over.
they objected to the word
Well,
restricted,
I agree
and
with her
that's what was
100%.
revised.
I agree with her completely that, just on the
Designated
record,
giving.
that money was given and needs to stay with America 250.
Right, but the question that
Question
I had,
is whether the Round Hill,
right, cause it was
project
said that this is gonna be a historical preservation / America 250 project. And I even promoted it that way and saved the date for the invitation to Round Hill, because I was under the impression that it was a multi-purpose event.
well, just for historical, so that everybody has the background, Lisa, for you, and but also for the board members, the newer board members. When I was working on my New Horizons project, and this was back in 2022, way back when, and needed to do a capstone project, I wanted to do a living history at a cemetery. I had contacted Shelbyville's city government, as also their historical society, about doing it at the city cemetery in Shelbyville, just because I knew of patriots and real daughters that are buried there, and it's convenient for me. Molly suggested to me that we instead go to Round Hill and have it there. Because John George was there, you said it would be a great tie-in with America 250 to be able to do that. So we went ahead and moved everything, which was fine. It was a great idea. That's great location, perfect venue for what we wanted to do. And the living history became a video instead. And then there was discussion about whether we would not just have the video after I had turned it in as my project, but whether we would go ahead and do a live event. And there was further discussion about when that would be. We talked about doing it last October, and I was not available because I was traveling a good part of the month. And so knowing that we had the Liberty Tree project coming up, it was discussed that we would do it in the fall. There was nothing that was said about it's no longer America 250 at that point, even as we know from listening to the videos from the meeting in May, you know, you said this is for America 250 for Round Hill. So at that point, we were all going off the assumption of that. So where things changed, where they got skewed, I think that's where everybody got sideways.
Actually, what was said at minus 27.12 seconds is I still have plenty of money left over for the October for this June 3rd and also October 3rd or October, not sure what the date is exactly, over there at Round Hill. So we are okay this year for some, can't read my generous, thanks to some and generous person. So I'd like to request the corresponding secretary to send blah, 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 blah.
So
That was what was in the minutes, and that was you saying that.
and taking a step back, we are piddling over money that could tear us apart when it's not necessary. If it came down to it, I'm gonna be blunt right now. If you want me to write a check for the sign and for what we did at Round Hill and walk away from it, we'll do that and be done. But we know that's not the end. That's not, like a lot of things, that's not the real reason, the real conflict. So I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying I want to do it, but I will. So having said that, we need to figure out moving forward, let's decide.
My suggestion,
Mhm.
coming from the state, would be, since your last board meeting said that it was gonna be tabled and it was gonna be discussed, if I were you, and strictly, this is your decision, your regent's decision, if I were you, I would probably, at this point, take a vote. What do you wanna do with, what do you wanna consider this as? I think that there's a big misunderstanding between that $129, and you are absolutely 100% correct. It could tear you guys apart, and it's not worth it. And whether or not everybody loves each other, or whether you don't, you are the board. You're the elected board, except for Ken. But we we love but you're the elected board. So you are who your chapter has asked and wanted to run their chapter, who they trust, who they think will do a good job, and you have to sometimes just set opinions or feelings aside and say, for the better of the chapter, because that's what we're all here. We all get volunteers, nobody gets paid. You just have to realize that there are some things, and you're absolutely right, $129 is just not worth it. But since it had been tabled, if I were you, just to get it cleaned up, and now Molly, you are the chairman of 250, so this is your money. From what I understand, you brought a lot of it in. So if the board voted to not count Round Hill as the America 250 and put that back into your budget, I think the problem with using the term restricted funds, because when it's a restricted fund, you can't use it for certain things. And I think what you should have probably, the wording, that was a schematic thing to some of your members. It wasn't so much that they didn't want you to keep the money. I think that the America 250 to keep the money. I think that they just didn't want it to be a restricted fund, because restricted always makes you think, oh gosh, there's rules.
It's like an endowment fund.
Right.
Yeah, like in church, you can only use it for.
I think it's absolutely right. You can
Investment.
roll over. I think that Molly was a little hurt because she feels like she really wasn't a part of America or the Round Hill. And I don't know. That's something that you guys, I was not here, I don't know that. But I think that that's why she was hurt about it, because, nobody wants to go out. We know how hard it is to be a fundraiser, right? All of us have done fundraising for something or another, and it's not fun. And so when you bring money in, it is like your baby. It's like, oh my gosh, I brought this money in and I want to keep it. And oh my gosh, I'm going to hoard it. But on the same token, you want to use it for what it's for. So I think that just the restricted part. But if I were you guys, I would probably go ahead and get this put to bed, because it's obviously hard feelings for Molly, it's hard feelings for Paula, it's hard feelings for Patty. Everybody is a little tense about it. And even your chapter members were a little. And I think if you go to them at your next meeting and you say, hey, during the board meeting, Patty called a vote and this is what we decided, I think everybody's gonna be fine with that. Just don't use, I think it's just the restricted word that really upset
Maybe
people.
designated.
Yeah, designated funds, because that's what they were designated for.
Right,
When
it's
you went out and
designated for
got the money,
250,
They
right.
told you America 250, right? I mean, you told them for that.
Well, I think that this is, more than just one issue. I mean, just looking at the money is one thing, it's just the money. Just looking at the figures is one thing. But, you know, Gina has been confused about this gray area and, whether or not it is an event for American 250. It was, I would say, it was envisioned to be an American 250 event. However, Patty sent me an email early on in the year and that clearly said that this was not an American 250 event. And therefore, it was not an American 250 event. However, we all envisioned it as it would be part of it. So that's where that little confusion stems from.
That email, the context of this is not a 250 event was in the context of it is not a titled 250 event and you are not the chair in charge of the event. That was the context of
Well,
this is not a titled
Translation was lost in
250.
email because the word title
This
is
is-
something that has been recently used in conversation here in the last couple of weeks. And that was not part of the email.
Let me just break in and ask.
Yes, Dylan.
Okay, so that question is this money? Are you hoping to transfer that balance because you're looking for a project that needs that money in 2024?
Well, since you brought it up, I was gonna have a project for next year, however, Patty canceled it. So I don't have a project for next year.
Well, you still can. You can still.
I would hope so. It might be a different project, but I would probably, but.
But
at this
again-
time, I
but
don't know.
again-
The focus of your concern on the donations was that they came from the community around Beech Grove, and you felt
Mhm.
like that the money needed to be reflected in service to that group.
Mhm.
That's kind of what I heard in your comments earlier.
So just focusing on the money, what I had hoped, going back to your budget, is that it would be the same as last year, 150, and then whatever is carried over.
Did you send me an email? Did you
No, I did
respond
not,
to any
because
of my
this has
emails
all
about it?
been
But
tabling.
it does not matter. I understand. I knew it was in flux. Everyone here knew it was in
Hey,
flux.
Suzanne.
But everyone also knew we were working on a deadline. You were told there was a deadline to go ahead and get that out. Communication is everything. Considering the fact that there's been accusations of withholding information, maybe opening up that line of communication would have helped that a little bit too. So,
We're
you know,
both
it goes-
guilty of that.
I think the whole email thing is a problem sometimes. When you have different personalities and personalities that maybe do not fit as well, I think emails can be misconstrued. I think that they can be, a word can be off and it makes the whole email have a different tone. If you find that, I mean, if you find, just me watching, if you find emails coming back and forth and they're getting a little, pick up the phone, call each other and talk. I think that I understand the situation about the meeting canceled. I mean, if you don't mind.
Mhm.
Okay. So it's my understanding that they, the other chapter, was not aware.
I don't think the board knows.
Okay, apparently, if you don't mind, Molly.
Go ahead.
Okay. Apparently Molly was gonna work with Mary Bryan, which, you know, is you guys' wife. And,
It's the wife chapter.
yeah, it's your wife. And, she was gonna work with them and gonna try to get something together for America 250. And she had talked to Kay Parrott to set up an appointment. And Kay had been trying to get a hold of her and couldn't due to a problem with the emails. So she couldn't get a hold of her, so she contacted Patty. That's right, Patty, so far. And she contacted Patty to try to get a hold of Molly, and Patty did not know anything about it. Is that right so far, ladies?
Didn't
Is
know
that
anything
right?
about what?
She didn't know about the event that you had planned with Mary Bryan?
Yes, she did, because
No, I did not.
I mentioned it at the last board meeting, I mentioned it at the last chapter meeting that I
The
was
only
getting
thing
together.
that you said was you would like to have a joint project with the other chapter. You didn't tell me you had a meeting set up or
I said that at the
anything.
chapter meeting, that I had already talked to her and we was getting together at the next chapter meeting.
So, there's the problem. Ideally, it would be good to get communication again going forward. Molly, as the committee chair, doesn't really have to come to you and say, hey, this is what I wanna do and this is what I'm gonna do, until she's got it kind of all together. And she doesn't have to do that. But, to be nice and to get along, one would go to their regent and say, hey, I wanna go to this chapter, and what do you think, kind of thing. And then when she called you, you wouldn't have been, didn't know, and you just have to make sure that you keep on track. And protocol wise, you are welcome, and this comes directly from the state regent. You are welcome to plan an event. You are welcome to plan an event and not ask permission. This comes from Sherry. Not ask permission, but to do it nicely, you would want to tell her,
Not ask permission from whom?
from you, to do it, or tell you about it. Sherry, according to, this comes from the state regent, I am repeating what Sherry said to me, and I called on my way here to make sure before I said it. According to Sherry, she has no idea what her state chairmen do. She doesn't know until they've got it all together and they've got their events together, and then they'll call her and tell her, hey, we're gonna do this event, and this is what's gonna go on, and this is who we're doing it with. So she saw no problem with Molly going ahead and talking to Kay Parrott and getting it all situated and not really giving you all the information yet. But on my part, I feel like it never hurts to say. You know, I mean, if you think that maybe it would be good if you're gonna tell Kim Shepherd something, and just because Kim Shepherd, they might call Kim Shepherd, then go ahead and tell her. You know, so just going forward, it doesn't hurt to tell people in advance what you plan on doing.
Well,
It's
and I
not
could,
required,
yeah.
according
So
to
where's
Sherry,
that
it's
at?
not
And, you know,
required.
I know Sherry said that, but
Yeah.
I see it differently on a state level
do
as
too.
opposed to a chapter level.
I see it differently too.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
that's-
as a state level,
that's-
you're at all different places.
And that's
I
exactly
can't
what
see
I said.
me going and
Yes.
saying, I'm gonna have a membership event and I'm not gonna let the board know, I'm not
No.
gonna let anybody know. I'm gonna go hold a membership event, maybe in Greenwood, which is not even my place, or in Southport, outside of Beech Grove, or whatever, or with another chapter, hold a membership event and not let the board
What I
or the
just
chapter
heard-
member know.
Well, I get
From
that.
you was what I just heard from you was you were having an event and you were saying something after the fact. That's not what's happening here.
I
And
would
the
just think it,
conversation that I had with Kate Parrott was, you wanted to do a presentation to their chapter.
And I said at the last
And-
chapter meeting that I was going to their chapter.
I didn't.
Does
Yeah.
anybody
I
remember
didn't
that?
hear that.
Yeah.
Suzanne does.
I wasn't there.
Oh, you were.
I was,
Well, we
but
ran into
there was a
Kate
lot
Parrott.
of
We ran
conversation.
into Kate Parrott at different events, and when we found out she was the new regent of Mary Bryan, I mean, we said, well, because we have had events with them.
Yeah, oh, it just, that's standard, I mean, that makes great sense to do that.
it just
together.
does seem poor protocol to me to not keep
To
the
not-
regents. That,
I
mean,
agree,
I don't,
100%. I'm just telling, that was Sherry's
Yeah.
take. Again, I agree differently. I think, see it differently as a chapter level.
Yeah.
I think there's nothing wrong with letting everybody know. And the thing is that sometimes people don't hear it, sometimes they're talking amongst themselves and they don't hear something. So sometimes it's just kind of nice as a board for you to bring out information to all the board member. I mean, it's not necessarily for the chaplain to know that she's gonna meet Kay Parrott to talk about America 250. But if somebody contacted her and she could say, yeah, I knew about that. So it's not that she can't do it, you don't have to have permission, but she's your regent, which in all actuality, is the top dog of your chapter, okay? And regardless, she should know.
She needs to
She
know.
just needs to know. Not so much she has to know, but it's just kind of a nice thing to do. But on the same token, Molly is allowed to just kind of do her own thing and then come back and tell the board members, hey, this is what I did. I mean, she may get over there and give her spiel, and they don't want to do it with her. You know, they're like, nah, I don't want to do it.
But also, as a chapter, we have to also vote on the things
Oh,
that we
yes.
want to do and the money that we have to spend.
Right.
And for her to go over there and talk to them and say, I'd like to do this and this and this, and this is my vision, this is what it'll cost, you know, you guys will pay for this, making all these other arrangements before the chapter has even said, yeah, we'd like to do something with Mary Bryan.
Yeah.
You know, having that heads up of, this is my vision of what I would like to do, you know, with Mary Bryan or whatever. And, you know, your home chapter should know about an event before another chapter does.
Do you have a problem with presenting it to your chapter? Tell them what you want to do?
I have no problems with that.
Okay.
You want to get
And
into
let them-
specifics.
Well, I mean, why don't you present it, if you've got time on your agenda the next meeting, why don't you let her present? Not do a whole presentation, but just say, hey, I'd like to. You don't have to take a vote on it right then, but then everybody would know, all the members would know.
And I think the
you guys would
caveat
know.
on that is on anything that costs something, because
Oh, yeah.
she puts
Yes,
together a
yes.
marvelous yearbook for us,
Yeah.
and you know, she says she's got it all set, and it's just got a few little things
Yeah.
to fill out, but like, she has to set up all our programs, and she just told us, here are all the programs, how does everybody feel about that? At the last meeting when you were in charge of that, and everybody like, that's amazing, if we can really have these programs, that's a lot of footwork.
Yeah.
But it wasn't any budget thing. I
Yeah.
think this whole argument.
Oh, yeah, the
this
whole
discussion
argument
is,
about money,
Yeah.
but I think, and I mean, obviously, you could not, she does not have, you don't, Molly, have the right to say to Mary Bryan, hey, we're gonna do it. I mean, oh, good, you guys are in, okay, let's do this. You still have to bring it back to your chapter, you have to talk to your regent, you have to set a budget, you have to have a vote and all that kind of stuff. So it was kind of putting the cart before the horse, but I understand why you were doing it. But going forward, if I were you guys, just let everybody know what your plans are. Everybody, whether you think it involves them or not, because you guys all are the board. It's not just one person, but Patty is your boss, okay? She's like the CEO of your corporate board, if you want to look at it that way. And she may not do all the work, but she does quite a bit of it, and she oversees it all. Because if something goes wrong, it won't be Kim Shepherd I call, it'll be Patty.
Somebody
calling
Right?
Yeah.
And if you plan an event and it doesn't work out, and Kay Shepherd or Kay Parrott calls me and says, hey, I can't get a hold of Molly again, then I'm probably gonna try to call you, and then if I can't get a hold of you, then I'm gonna call Patty. So that's basically what happened with Kay. And had Patty known, she probably would not have, I'd like to think you probably wouldn't have canceled any kind, well, she didn't cancel it.
I
Kay
didn't
did.
cancel it.
Kay
Kay
canceled
canceled it.
But I would like to think that had everybody known, there would not
I
have
was
been.
not
a problem.
aware of that.
Yeah.
Well, and the
Well,
thing-
Kay was probably didn't want to step on toes. She's new. She probably didn't want to step on anybody's toes, and Patty didn't know.
Kay's comment was, I thought when she was approached, because we'd had our Regent Roundtable meetings.
Mm-hmm.
And at the Regent Roundtable meeting, we were talking and she'd said, I'd love to be able to do something, you know, with Mary Bryan, get everybody together, do a joint project or whatever. And I said, yeah, that'd be great. I said, we're gonna do our budget planning here soon and our scheduling and everything for next year. So, yeah, we can go ahead and plan on something and we'll think of something to do. Well, she said that when she was approached by Molly, she thought that that was under my direction. This is going to be the project that we were going to do. And I told her, I'm sorry, I said, and she was asking me, well, what exactly is it that you want to do? And I said, I don't know anything about it. And I said, I don't know what she did, you know, or what she said or anything. And so she was upset that I didn't know about it. And she said, well, I don't know how I can plan anything if you guys don't know about it yet. So then she was upset that I didn't know about it, and she said, you know, at this point, we need to just cancel the meeting and schedule something later. And I told her that there can be another meeting later on, once Molly presents to the chapter what it is that she wants to do with another chapter, and see if they want to do it.
Is that okay with Molly? You think you can do that, right?
I can do that, but I really have to rethink about this because I'm not sure if I want to do that project
With now, okay,
at this time.
well, there you go.
Okay, well
don't
then,
feel
if we,
strong-armed.
if we don't mind jumping back into the budget thing, kind of
Yes.
getting back on board with that then. So I guess the question that's floating over us is whether the money in America 250, Suzanne, just to catch you up real quick, and I think you probably have caught where we're at, okay, you know where we're at. Okay, so, and just so you know, Round Hill, I know I did tell you that it was a lower dollar amount than what I thought because we had some last minute receipts come in.
I spent a Coke in my purse and I thought the receipts were ruined, and then I found them in a pocket.
Okay,
Oh, wow.
including the sign, which obviously the sign would need to go under that budget, whether it's America 250 or just finding the money someplace else. So moving the money over, or the sign over to that, the total amount was $307 is what we spent. Just, and again, I'd like this to stay here, but just in full disclosure. Pardon me?
$307
For the whole event.
Nicely done.
And by the
guys.
way, it was awesome. By the way, it was,
really something.
I was
yes,
gonna
it was
come and-
amazing.
I know.
It was amazing.
I was coming and then I had grandkids.
Kim knows how to, well, they could have come, they would have enjoyed it. Your grandkids
should.
enjoyed
Oh, did
it.
you bring your
I
kids?
did, they were
Okay.
dead fun.
So anyway, $307 for the entire event, and that includes the sign. I had already, thinking that this was going to be out of pocket, I had already funneled some money directly to Kim to cover some of that. So it's not like we have to look at the whole $307 back. What's right is right. And so I guess it comes down to, we vote whether this event should fall under the America 250 umbrella, so that that money that's in that fund would cover it, some or all or whatever.
And there would still be a carryover,
There would still, okay, there would be,
at 300, whatever.
well, 316, yeah, there,
It's about, not much.
not much, but basically $150 is what it would be left.
Oh,
Having said that, there's nothing planned for next year with that money because nothing was submitted as part of the budget.
Can I say that I wasn't confused about what's America 250 and what isn't. I feel like everything that could possibly be put under that umbrella and promoted as an America 250 event or project or whatever is good for all concerned.
Well, I agree,
Because-
but as chair, I would like to be informed and consulted and be part of it. I was not.
You were part of her.
You
No,
were
I
part of,
wasn't. No.
You were there at the cemetery.
I have pictures of you.
You were there.
I've got
You filled
pictures
out
of you
the
and
form for the sign.
you held the, yeah, you
Oh,
filled out.
that was early on. That
Okay,
was
but
in
it's
for the
still
part
event.
of it.
We did not have a meeting for this event
For a
until,
year.
yes, till like 3 weeks ahead of time, because I was starting to sweat. I knew it was on the books and we'd not done anything. We waited because everything was in flux. We waited until there was a blow up. We did not have a planning meeting until,
Again, communication.
it is,
Yeah.
it is, I agree.
But
So
I
we,
did think going forward, anything we do, if we can slap down America 250 on it, and whether the money comes from this Peter to Paul, it should, because that's a significant event that I remember the bicentennial from when I was, I'm not gonna say how old I was, but
None of us are gonna
I
speak
mean, I
that.
still remember that. I remember everything associated with that, and it's huge, and we need to capitalize on that.
well,
and dovetailing on your comment, I know that Patty is always thinking about the CMR. And what she especially loves is when we have an event that she can tick off 5 things,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So some budget item came out of that, but we get the reflected glory
Yeah, the whole chapter.
of, you know, like all that. And
From-
I think that's
From the treasurer's
good
seat,
for everybody.
the optics of the fact that it was presented to the chapter and to the donors, that it was going to cover this event. That worries me that now we're going to go back to the chapter and say, sorry, we're wrong, now can you vote to move the money? Again, we got the money,
No.
okay, but it's, no,
Did your chapter vote originally on this?
No, they tabled it because they sent it back to this group.
Okay.
May
So
I,
they never voted on the Round Hill project?
that we were
No,
gonna do it?
that we were doing.
Yeah,
it.
that we did it.
how about this,
They
ladies?
didn't vote on what it was gonna be under.
How about this? I think it would be okay that, based on these figures, okay, about 425, to go ahead and take the money out of that, okay? Make it an official American 250 thing, and then whatever's left over, roll it over for next year, along with the 150. But in the future, if there is going to be a American 250 event or dovetailing of an American 250 event, to include and inform the chair in the planning and in the promotion of whatever that event is.
And anything that has a multiple effect.
Yes,
All the multiple
that's what I'm
people
saying,
should be.
yes.
And I think
informed
that's
of it.
exactly what your region is saying.
I think that
She needs to be involved.
everybody needs to be informed. This entire board should not plan anything without talking to each other.
Right.
And
Yep.
whether you do it through email, whether you pick up the phone, whether you pass a note, it doesn't matter. But everybody, for everything that happens, before you take it to your chapter, before Patty takes it to your chapter, because she's your regent, so she will. But before you do that, you all need to know. Everybody on this board, there should not be one thing, and this is not so much a requirement as just a working plan. Everybody on this board should know, you should never have to pick up the phone, as Patty had to, and say, oh, well, I don't really know. Even if you don't know a lot about it, you wanna be able to say, I know. So, I mean, going forward, I think that I think she's right. I think Molly's right. Everybody, no matter who the chairmen are, you're correct, every chairman should know. But most especially, everybody on this board should know.
Well, I can't speak to what happened during that time because
Yeah.
I was not, but I know in the past we had a board email
Yeah.
thing. What do we call it? Everybody got an
Around
email.
the house.
Everybody got an email.
Inside- Like an
But,
inside group.
but that's just
Right.
good, everybody should
Right.
know. But you've got to remember that on the same token, Patty's your boss. So Patty, you wouldn't go, anybody that's working would not go and plan something and then not tell their boss. I mean, now you might not on a daily basis go to a cold call, if you were a salesperson, go to a cold call and not tell your boss, because, let's see how it works. But before you plan anything or you do anything, you tell your boss, hey, I'm gonna go here. May not happen, but I'm gonna go here. And that's basically what it is, okay? So, but Molly's correct too. You all need to make sure you can't plan things without letting the chairman know.
So back to the proposal then,
Yes.
that we go ahead and I'm sorry, I keep pulling us back.
No,
up.
I'm
That's okay.
glad.
no,
That's
that's
fine.
fine.
You need to.
We need
Go
to
ahead and use the Round Hill numbers, deduct it from the existing 2023 budget from America 250. And then whatever is left over from that will roll over, and then Molly is now requesting another $150. Now, I don't have a problem, even though it's past the time and you did not submit anything, but I've held every other committee chair's feet to the fire when they've asked for money. I'd say, what do you want to do with it? So I'm gonna ask you the same thing. So if you will give me a proposal, I don't mind putting the $150 in the line item, we can make it work, but I want to know what you've got planned with it, and not just I hope there's something coming up. I know opportunities are gonna arise later, and that's fine. That's why we try to keep a little bit of cushion that we can make those emergency votes if we need to. But for something that needs to be planned, something bigger, I need to have some kind of idea. So if you would just jot down some ideas and email them to me this week, because I'm going to finalize the budget Yes,
Molly, do you
she
have
has
one
one
of
of those, yes.
Okay, fill that out and then, you
Yes.
know, give it to her.
If you will get that to me this week, because that way I do want to have the proposed budget in the hands of the members, so they have time to review it before.
So you can have it by the end of the year.
Exactly.
Who else would other
But,
committees?
but we're going to vote on it in November, so TikTok,
Which
we
is
need to,
coming, yeah.
it's coming real quick.
Which other
Yeah.
committees didn't have line items?
That did not ask for line items or did
Didn't
not.
anything for
respond
the
to, 'cause you
veterans
said there
group,
were
because they're
other
always doing things.
chairs
What
that
does it
didn't
say?
respond.
America History did not
hardly
respond. The
enough for
ones that
them.
are blank did not respond to me. No,
Heritage. or-
I've got community classroom is blank, but I got a note from Suzanne. She told me she didn't need anything, which by the way, I want to talk to you about some stuff.
Commemorative events.
In juniors, didn't hear back from it. So basically, the ones that are blank spots,
Okay.
they did not make any kind of request there, or they either made no request or just said, or just,
But some of them didn't have any last year either. so-
exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
I was just making sure.
So,
you
but-
said that.
If I'm understanding correctly, you're gonna fill out the papers.
Paper.
But it's basically gonna be like this, right? At this point, there's
That's for the-
$316.32 left.
Well,
No,
no, not when we
400.
get, I'm gonna get you all the Round Hill numbers and get that
Oh,
all
okay.
settled down. This does not include Round Hill.
That's why we have
So
to hand it back.
it's, there's
did
not
we
going to be
vote?
much, but I want to,
That's why you want these back.
that's
It
why I
needs to
want
be a
those
vote, so
back.
it's
That's,
documented.
yeah.
So we have to have a
so I
vote,
should-
so we have to have a vote
let's
that
vote.
that money for Round Hill, Molly has said, okay, we need to make a vote.
That-
So I will make a
Yeah.
motion that we go with Molly's suggestion to pay the Round Hill bills out of her American 250 money.
Can Kim
With,
make a
the-
motion?
with the
I'm on the
leftover
board
money
now,
rolls
baby.
over.
And I second.
Okay, what
Actually,
was the
do
motion?
you wanna clean it up, Robert's rules?
Okay.
Yes, please, Miss Roberts.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was a little
I'll,
messy.
I'll,
Oh,
I'll
sorry.
say it last
That's how
as
Kim
I.
rolls.
I'm Ms. Shepherd here. I move that we keep the Round Hill expense in the 2023 budget and carry over the remaining 250 budgeted amount into the 2024.
In the America 250
American
budget.
250, yeah.
Let's try it
I didn't say
again.
that.
Take two. Let's try it again.
Oh, okay. Can I remember all those words? Okay, I am Ms. Shepherd. I move that the recorded amount of expense on Round Hill in the American 250 category with the surplus 2023 money to roll over and add to the proposed budget for 2024
For American.
for American.
I hate
Well,
to,
the whole
I hate
American
to do this
250.
to you, but again, we're gonna have to redo it. You said I don't know the exact word, she said
Proposed budget.
not the proposed budget, but the numbers, the
Round Hill
presented
amount.
numbers, Round Hill, they're not finalized. So it is kind of fluid.
So I need to say the exact
Honestly,
dollar amount?
honestly, I need to take donations and put in there to cover it, because I made some donations that have not been
Oh,
shown yet.
well, why don't
So
you,
now-
why don't you read
Make
back
the
what-
motion, make the motion.
I move that the Round Hill project of October 7th, 2023 be expensed under the America 250 budget 2023.
The remaining.
then
And the remaining
money.
funds be rolled over to America 250's 2024 budget.
There you go.
Praise the Lord.
Perfect.
And really, we would have done that as a series of amendments, but I like it as
I
one
like
clean
it.
thing.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Okay.
those in agreement?
Well, nobody seconded, that was a.
I-
I'll second it, everybody second it.
Seconded.
Seconded.
Seconded, okay.
So-
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Nay?
Put it to bed. All right.
And Molly, we apologize for the miscommunications from everybody all the way around.
Well, I appreciate that, guys.
You do a boatload of work for us, and we appreciate it.
Thank you, Amy.
All right,
Yay.
I'm not done.
We've had two badass events, I'm just gonna say.
You
this
know,
year.
that's the thing. You guys knock it out that's why it's just a matter of communication, because you
I want that in the
you're
minutes. We
crazy.
did two
Okay, so
badass
this is
events.
happy,
You want this back now?
yes, please, if you have your old budget, I don't think I gave it to you, Suzanne, because you got here late, you can keep that one. Oh, you gave,
I wrote on it.
that's
You
fine,
keep that.
that's fine.
That's a keeper.
Suzanne, I'm just asking for the proposed budgets back because they're gonna be amended and I didn't want them floating around. Here it is, okay, so
Yeah.
good news stuff now, that ugly stuff is out of the way. Here is Fall Forum, proposed numbers for fundraising.
Oh.
If you have seen the little purse bags that Donita is working herself to death over, they are cute. And counterbalances, counterweights for pins. She's
I
got
was the
order
model,
forms.
just wanna say.
There you go.
She's got, so she's taking orders for those, and we're going to kick butt on that as well. So there's some numbers. The banner program, as Elaine asked, that was really cool. We had a total of 16 come through for this fall.
Yay.
One of those.
That was just this year?
That's just this fall, just
Oh,
this
you didn't
fall,
get
not
that.
even this spring. So $800 profit on that.
Well, and
So-
once they see them, once people see
Exactly.
them hanging, then
Exactly.
I
And there's
think it-
more
they
this
want
time. We only
more,
had
yes.
10 in the spring.
Right.
Are
So,
we rehanging any of them?
yes, they're
Yes, they-
rehanging the 10, but we
All
will
of
get
them.
them
So-
back this
so-
year at the end of fall when he takes
So
them
there'll be
down.
26
Six?
hanging.
Yeah. Would that be 26 hanging?
Should be.
Should be.
So that's
So we'll
like-
make sure Jen gets out there to get some
That would
pictures
Yeah.
bring
because
attention.
Yeah,
that will, we love that.
advertising.
26 out of 44 hangers will be
And
much
then-
more impressive than 10.
Okay, so the fall forum situation, we do still need people to help man the tables. Who all is going to fall forum?
And I'm willing to help set up, and
And
I'll
you're
work,
going to.
I'll work a 2-hour shift.
Okay.
Everybody going?
I think Patty has
I
a
did
sign
not
up type
sign
of
up.
sheet. You did not? That's okay. That's okay. We'll talk about it. Patty's got a sign up sheet.
I have.
Molly, you're going.
No,
Lisa-
I'm not going.
You're not going to Fall Farm? Okay.
You don't have to get there early. That's, actually, I think we have plenty of people setting up because I'll be there early and so Donita's coming early to
You can
bring her
actually
stuff.
set up Friday night.
And we might do that. That actually
Why
might
don't you
work
go
out really well.
man-
I
the
know it's
table.
a trip over that way.
I don't know, will they let you
Will they
in?
let me go man the table if I didn't register and sign up and pay to eat lunch? and
Just
all
walk
that?
in, act like you already did.
Okay,
I didn't.
I can do that.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that.
Okay, and with that, I'm done.
So wait,
I'm
you
done.
don't have these old things on your list.
What are
that?
those?
What are
It's like for your
those?
office or for your kid's bedroom. This is in for Indiana. This is not in. It's not the right shape.
Oh, how
But
cute.
it's, I've got a whole little
Aren't you
handful of
cute?
these.
Those are
Cool.
cute.
How much should we, how
I
much,
think $1
Do
or
you-
$2.
do you want money back for them?
We
Did
had
this
it
one have a
Okay.
DA, a dollar? Yeah, there was.
DARLER.
A dollar.
Yeah, I saw that.
Dollar.
It's on here
Yeah,
somewhere.
what's
Yeah.
our
Dar-
Dollar
a
Tree?
Dollar
Oh, there it is.
She's
Dollar
got,
Tree.
she's got a
Okay.
bunch of items that we had in storage.
Oh,
that-
the little mob caps and, oh gosh, just
they're
a bunch
just
of
sitting in a
piddly
box.
stuff that
Okay,
was
this
sitting
is
in a
what I
box.
have
I
at
saw
home.
that somewhere.
We also have all these heads we can put. How many
No,
heads do we want for the
no,
fascinators?
okay, we do not.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
let's back up a second. We
Not
only
creepy
have one table. We did not get
Okay.
two
Oh,
tables
you
like
didn't get two
requested,
tables? How come?
because we didn't,
We signed
we,
up for one.
we only signed up for one. So we only have one table, so there is luckily no
space.
room for those
Luckily
heads,
for the
which
horrible heads. Okay.
creep me out.
I was gonna have to comb their hair or something, and I'm not.
Do you want these back?
That you can keep. The only thing I needed back was the proposed budget, and
Patty
Deb bought
can
us
listen.
one for Sunday
I am
night on
done.
the back of his
I'm
truck.
done. I'm done.
Suzanne, you're going Fall Farm?
I'm done.
No, okay.
So is this for Friday or Saturday?
Saturday.
Saturday. That were the dark.
Cute.
Okay, I'm done. Go.
So you're done?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I
Okay.
know. I just
Yeah, we
So-
gotta go back.
commented to the meeting.
The counterweight, that Danita's gonna do, take one of these, pass it around, please. We came out with the pricing, for those. She said her cost on all of those, her cost $16 for a large one, 16 for a large, whatever it is, 14 for medium, 12 for small. That's her cost. And she said, her time and everything else is donated. Okay, so this is going to be the process.
Do you have X, is there a picture?
This is just the
This-
counterweight, not the double, not the ribbon itself, this is the counterweight.
This is
Right.
a counterweight,
Yeah.
counterweight fundraiser.
I don't think that QR code will work that small.
Oh, this thing?
Put a little SB in the middle of
Try it, send us a little something.
So what we're gonna do
Yeah, it
is,
went through.
Did it good?
Cool.
we're gonna pass out the order forms at Fall Forum or whatever venue
Yeah.
that we're at. The order forms will also be posted on our website to print and mail with the payment. No ordering transactions on the website. It's just gonna be they can print off the form to mail it in. Cause we don't wanna get into that interstate commerce stuff and all that. So they'll only be able to print that off. So then they can either mail the check with the form or pay via Venmo. The orders will be sent to the treasurer with the payment processing. So at the bottom of their order form, it says either mail your checks or you can pay by Venmo. And then,
What's mag and pins?
Magnets or pins.
Magnetic ribbon.
Oh.
Or like,
the pin.
so that's the counter?
It's the one, it would
The
go behind
counterweights.
you.
Yeah, so
it
when,
goes-
Your pins, you know, they weigh you down.
It goes
You hook
inside.
it on, and then you hook it behind you, click it behind you, and so it's kind of like, there's
Oh,
this.
So your
there's
ribbon
And
might
this
have
one
a
actually
Ribbon
goes
is a
ribbon.
magnet,
inside.
ribbon is
No.
a pin, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
these are ones that go under your clothes.
Yeah, under your clothes.
Right.
It goes under your clothes.
And-
And you either have a magnet to attach it to the rest of the stuff,
Or
or
a pin.
pins
Okay.
is for the ladies who have pacemakers and they can't have
a
magnets.
so they would pin their
I
ribbon
love
to that
magnets.
counterweight.
Yeah.
I got it,
I
I
would
got
use
it.
magnets.
So that's the difference. So the orders will be sent to
It's
the
all inside your
treasurer.
clothes.
So this is the process. The orders will be sent to the treasurer with the payment. Okay, nothing's gonna be processed until they have the payment. The seamstress will be notified of the order
have an
by
extra.
email, or she can hand her the hard copy of the order form, at a meeting if she gets it then or whatever. Allowing 4 to 6 weeks for the order to process. And then once it's complete, the seamstress will deliver the finished product to the treasurer at the next chapter meeting. We're not gonna have this back and forth stuff going around or whatever. She'll get her order, she'll bring the orders at the next chapter meeting, and anything that she's completed, Paula will bring her checkbook, reimburse her for however many she finished, and we're done.
Made to order.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
exactly.
this could go on for a while.
Ever.
depending
Forever.
on, you
You,
know.
So
they're
then,
great. I bought one on Etsy, it's great.
so then,
Price wise,
the treasurer will
we're
get
better than
the
Etsy.
Then Etsy.
reimbursement receipts, reimburse her at the meeting, that way she has her check, her reimbursement, everything is all done, it's all clean. She quoted 16, 14, and 12 for her reimbursement costs, so that'll keep everything clean. She'll turn in some receipts as just some ancillary backup document for the reimbursement. So if it's anything over the 16, 12, or 14, or whatever it is, then that'll be quote, labor. The material costs are included in those 16. So then the treasurer has the envelopes that $8 flat rate, no matter how much the weight is. It's one of those bubble packs, and that cost is included on the website, or on the order form. So when the lady fills out the order form, she's already paying for the shipping cost. And so if she pays by Venmo, she can screenshot this and email it to her address on here, which is what it says, paying by Venmo. Email screenshot of your completed order form to the treasurer listed above with the payment. Or they can mail the orders to the treasurer at the address listed. And so we have 3 different sizes, magnets, and pins. And it's listed on there that says magnets means counterweights with magnets, CW pins, no magnets in the fabric. So,
Just putting weights.
Are we
Danita
gonna be the
has,
only ones doing this at the Fall Farm?
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody else doing that.
so Danita is donating her time to do this, cause I clarified it 3 times. She's not expecting any reimbursement for her sewing time, cause she says she usually charges about $20. That's your copy.
I have one.
Okay,
was an
whoever
extra.
doesn't have one.
Kim, Molly
Oh,
did.
Molly didn't get one.
Who
So-
has the original of this?
Me.
You wanna send it to me to
I'll-
put on the members only thing?
I'll email
So,
Okay.
so at full forum, would Danita have like
Samples.
a
Samples.
samples for sizing?
She's
Yes.
gonna have the samples there, and she's going to help ladies show them how to put it on, so that they can see whether this one is too heavy, or this one, you know, the
It
ladies
has
who
the Velcro
who have the
straps too
shield,
for your bra.
Right,
the full armor,
yeah.
you know, obviously we get the larger ones or whatever, and then, you know, but she'll help with the weight and
Well, she
show
needs
them
to
how to
train
do it.
each person who's at
That's
the
gonna
table
be-
working, like.
It's not
They're the
difficult.
best.
I think
They're
she's
the
gonna be
best.
there.
She's
She's
gonna
gonna
be
stay.
there.
They're
This is
not,
like,
they're not
yeah.
as hard as
It's
they
gonna be
Yeah.
a hit.
Yeah, I think
I
it's
think
gonna be a big
so.
hit.
That's all.
And
Definitely gonna be a hit.
But we
And I
will,
think
we're gonna
at-
print off some of these orders
orders at Summer would be better even.
for the event, so that the ladies can take it. And if we get down to only a couple of them, we need to take a picture of a blank one and tell the ladies, oh, here, go to our website, or here's a picture of it, I'll send it to you, or whatever. We don't wanna tell anybody we're out of the,
Forms.
out of the forms. Now, you'll see that I said 16 on there for large, 14, 20. Did you notice the cost?
Mhm, yeah.
$75.
And that's
Still
the
better than
Etsy.
Etsy.
Yeah,
Etsy was what, 112?
for that
Something
one.
like that.
Yep.
The shipping, yeah, it was 80 and then shipping, I think that's what I paid.
Yeah, so 75 is, you know.
And it
like
looks expensive,
60%.
but man, you can wear it with
Yeah,
It's still under
stuff.
100.
Yes,
Still
ma'am.
under
and
100.
so, you know, we'll make a good profit margin on those. And I told her, I says, you might have opened a big can of worms with this. I said, so you're okay with that many? And she said, absolutely. She says, I want that to be, you know, my contribution to the chapter.
She can
So I
crank some
said-
stuff out.
Yeah,
Yes,
she
she
can,
does.
she can.
So, so that's gonna be one of our fundraisers over
And she's
there.
fun to be with, so that's great.
Yeah, she
Yes,
is.
she's great.
That's always nice.
And so we have the other,
Race across America.
the other fundraiser.
Wreaths across, it's right there in front of
Oh,
you.
there it is. We'll have the coin purses, those
Oh.
are gonna be sold, the fascinators, the counterweight. Who was it, Kathy Scheib
Mhm.
gave us some, pouches that she, donated, and, we're gonna sell those. Paula, did you bring a purse holder?
I did not. I
Okay.
thought about it and did not do it.
So we have the purse holders, and then.
It's a little thing that hangs on the table with the hook on it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have some Wreaths Across America flyers, I mean, that,
What cemetery do you do?
Marion. That's because my dad's buried there.
Oh, that's
And I'm
nice.
gonna go there.
Oh, that's nice.
So, but that's it, that's the closest national cemetery to us.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
it's the only one
Yeah.
by us. So it'll be over there. So we'll have a few flyers there, but you know, I'm not going to push anybody at Fall Forum because they could have done it for their own chapter or whatever. But if anybody does it, but that's just one of our fundraisers that we're gonna have this year. So now that our bigger events are done, we need to push hard for, Wreaths Across America because we've already gotten our first check.
Yep.
And we didn't even do anything.
I like
Wow.
that. I like that about us.
There's a link on the homepage of our website that goes directly to the Samuel Bryan Wreaths of America page. So,
And just click that link.
it.
I put it on my Facebook today, and there's, you know, just a link on there. Copy that link and put it on your own homepage.
That was my
Not
question,
just
how do we know
keep
we
it-
get that money, but it's from
It
that
goes
particular
direct.
fund.
Yeah, it goes directly to our homepage that we signed up for. And so, the thing about these wreaths are, the major question that you can answer is, if they're not buried in a national cemetery, can I still get one? Yes, you can. They will deliver it to your house. Okay, so you can pay for that.
So I can get one for my dad who's down at Greenwood.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can have it delivered to your home, and then you can take it down there. You can, there's also, if you don't have a veteran in your family, a live veteran in your family or whatever, and you're just wanting to buy a couple wreaths to donate, they can do that. And it just goes to a veteran at the National Cemetery. And so, that's the main questions that a lot of people ask. Or can I place it myself? If they're at a national cemetery, yes, you can place it yourself if you're going there that day. If not, then someone else will place it there. When I order mine for my dad, there's a place on there. I mark it that I am going to, a family member is going to be placing that person's wreath. So please do not place a wreath here. And so then the volunteers know if that flag is right there in front of that one, they don't put one there. But it's a great event to go to in December, and it only takes, I'd say, 20 minutes for thousands of wreaths, because there are so many volunteers that come to get them laid at all these veterans. So it is a great fundraiser, and it's so easy for us. We don't have to do anything. All we have to do is promote that link to get people to do it. And so here are some flyers that everybody can take a couple, take them somewhere, give them to somebody, place it somewhere or whatever. And then, because the last day to order is Tuesday, November 28th.
Which is not on here. Oh, okay.
If you
Well,
go
it's
to the
right after
website,
Thanksgiving.
whatever, you'll see it on there. This is the
So the weekend after
template
Thanksgiving, huh?
that Reads Across America uses.
The 20,
So I'm
is that
not-
one?
I'm gonna
28.
I'm gonna put out social media graphics on it heavy,
Yeah.
now that we're done with the banner.
Well, and you could do, we talked about doing an article, instead of buying an ad, put Patty's picture in there and just say
Right.
Sam O'Brien, like, that's how we used
Yeah,
to
last
do
year's
stuff,
picture.
yeah.
Yeah.
And make it an article.
Yeah.
That's how you
Well,
get
Well,
it in
I
the
send
paper.
out press releases
I
and see
know.
if they'll
We do
pick them
this.
up.
Take this to my job. Here, by the way, use this one too. I'll take one. Here, use this link, girls. Yeah, we have a couple cemeteries. It
But
is
are
a good
you-
fundraiser.
Is your chapter aware of that though? That
What?
program?
Will we get the fundraising?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
How much have you made?
Thousands.
Wow, okay,
Say,
all right.
We actually had, the first time we did it, we had 53 for one cemetery and 44 for another. And this last year, we had like 200 and some for one
So you
cemetery.
get it building and it starts
Have you
rolling.
promoted?
50. Well, just different things when we're
Different
out, different
places.
places, yeah. We leave, some of these at the, like the library, those papers just like that, at the library and, like the Chamber of Commerce and stuff like that. Or any kind of,
we're gonna take them over to the American Legion.
yeah.
Take them over there.
Mhm. And
Sorry, you're
explain.
still alive, but you know somebody who's, sorry about it.
But if you know somebody who isn't.
Yeah.
Well, you can order like,
news person, we'd have a half hour.
That's enough.
Okay,
you can
thank
order
you.
like 5 and deliver one for your own member, and then the rest of them they will
Mhm.
hand out.
I ordered 2, and one is for Dad over there at the cemetery, and then all of our kids, each year, I have the other one delivered to the kids. So now all the kids, get one, so now we're on the last kid, you know, they get those, and it's like, whose turn is it this year? Get 3.
Stick it on the wall.
Back to the fall forum, real quick. Kim, since we only got one table, that one small table that you have,
Fold up.
yeah, that
Okay.
fold up, can you bring that? And then we'll just kind of sit it behind us, blah, blah, blah. You didn't
Sneak
hear
it.
this.
No heads
Forget
on it.
the-
No heads.
No, we're not putting any heads on it.
Yeah, no
Do you still
heads.
have your black
Didn't hear.
tablecloth for
Yeah,
that?
we've got,
Creepy dolls.
we've got all those.
Cupid dogs.
Okay.
Cupid dolls, she's too young for a Cupid doll. She don't even know.
The education packets, we're just going down the agenda here. The education packets, I think we need to scrap that for now because there's too much.
It's too late.
I don't think the teachers are getting them.
Mhm.
The packages are too, big as far as email, so it's going into their spam. They're not getting, they're not even getting the communication. some of this stuff, is Good Citizen, or some of it is Constitution Week. And, you know, it's just a hodgepodge of
Contest.
everything that we do. And so many of the deadlines are just all over the place. I don't think it works for, sending it at the beginning of the school year or in the middle of the school year, or, I don't know, it's not.
There's,
the beginning
it doesn't
or
seem like there's any good time because they're all different.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they already are planning by the time school starts.
And I
Yeah.
think
They've already got it all
that-
done.
that individual
It's crazy.
chair for whatever that project is should be responsible to get the word out about their own essay contests or whatever. So I
I was waiting
recommend
for the report.
that we, just kind of scrap that for now until we
Just
can.
take that off the
Well,
website.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
deadline's like
They're stupid.
2 weeks after we get the,
I know.
Yeah,
Stupid.
whatever
Yeah.
the form is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that junior.
You're not the only chapter that
No.
that it's happened to, because things are getting late.
We took them to each school. She put it on the,
Yeah.
made it at the Senate. We've done it 12 different ways.
Yeah, we've
And
done
it
it
doesn't.
2,
You're not
3
the
years in a
only
row,
one.
yeah.
It's
We had a
nothing.
winner last year.
Because I think that way, you know, we don't have to worry about it, or, you
This
know,
is
when
the
are we
big
gonna
one,
do it
not-
or
not
whatever,
what we
and
have
Oh, not the citizens
I think we should just
Okay,
scrap
scrap
that
it.
for now.
Okay.
The, real quick, the Veterans Luncheon, in March. I talked with Sharon on that. We got a date from Angel as far as the Veterans Luncheon, so we're gonna present it at the November meeting.
And it's
That-
April.
It's in April.
Let's
I
do it
don't
in
have
I
a
March.
thought
date
it
in
was,
front
I
of me.
thought that was changed to April 20th.
Yeah, that's what she'd have said. It's in April.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And there is a, grant, a $500 grant that we can apply
Wow.
for. So we're going to apply for that, and Sharon is looking into, some goodies for the veterans. This isn't our event, we just participate in the event, and we like to bring things for the veterans, and we help, you know, with the setup and all that, whatever. But it's not a DAR event, but we can still use this grant money to, pay for whatever it is that we wanna give out.
When's the
And
Like them
deadline for the
grants.
grant to be applied?
there's no deadline.
Oh, cool.
They only do
It's
it
an ongoing
every,
one.
Yeah.
it's ongoing.
That's cool.
And so we're gonna go ahead and get that applied for. It's very, very simple. It's through the state, so.
We
has to be
do, I just
simple.
finished my membership class, yay, took a long time. But, whenever I answered anything about the veterans, I had big, long, detailed answers about what we do, because it's just amazing what, and I'm glad that I know all the stuff that we do.
Our veteran,
You guys do great things.
our
You
veteran
really do.
girls kick butt.
We do a lot.
There's no
Okay,
doubt.
moving along.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Patrick
closed.
the Pig, I'm going to request for, the $18, I think, or $20, postage to mail all the stamps that we collected for, stamps for the wounded
Are
all
we
year
still
long.
collecting?
Do you know what Patrick is, Lisa?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we will continue, and then
It's
at
pig
that.
money.
Yes, big money.
And then at that time, we will, also verify if we want to keep doing it for next year. So that's also
think
on
it's
our
good.
list. No meetings in January and February, but planning's gonna continue for any other committees or whatever. That's kind of our hiatus there.
You skipped anniversary dinner.
Yep,
She's
I know.
skipping several things.
She's skipping some things.
And no meeting in January. February, it probably won't be an every year thing or whatever, but this year, I had to cancel it. Some things are gonna come up, so, won't be available in February. But
won't be
we
here.
want people to
That's it.
continue to plan for the activities and events or whatever, so that come March, we can get everything, hit the ground running on that.
And book club in January, don't forget to read your book.
What book is it?
What book is it?
The service
pretty
in
good- it's a really
second,
good book.
okay, hold on, ladies. Service in seconds in November. We have the Tea Party, Boston Tea Party bag things that we're going to be giving away. And, also, birthday card signing, so we'll have two things going on at the November meeting for the, service in seconds. Sunshine Committee, we already talked about that, so that's Mary Tillison. Good Citizen Award changes for next year. Okay, we found out this year that, the process and the procedure, or whatever that we've been doing, it doesn't work. We cannot get the good citizens to come to a chapter meeting. We can't get them, to, do a court presentation. These seniors are just way too busy to want to come to an old ladies meeting or whatever.
I resent
Get no
that.
old lady money.
Okay. And so, I checked with a couple of other chapters to see how they do their good citizens, and they said, we don't have any luncheon or anything like that for the same reason, that the kids are too busy, they can't get them, and they can't get the ladies to, want to do a reception at a meeting just for the quote, good citizen thing. And so what they do, which is what I wanted to do in the first place, and I was seeing if anybody else did it, is to go to their senior night at high school. And that is in.
Yeah.
Awards night or whatever.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that is in May. And then the presenter can present the, pin and certificate to the, winner. And, at that time, if that person is chosen, as one of the state winners, it can be announced that, you know, they're a state winner and they're moving on to the state level, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, we can announce that then, but all the ones who have, all the schools who have turned in a good citizen winner, will be recognized at, or I'd like to have them recognized at senior night instead of trying to plan a reception
Yeah.
or anything like
And
that.
who gets to see it but their friends and families and make,
That's
oh,
right.
I could try for that next year.
That's right. So we're gonna do that. One
Maybe
other
I'll
thing, one other thing that I would like to add, and we will, request the funds for this, are those graduation cords.
I love that idea.
I like
We found the
those.
graduation cords, red, white, and blue graduation cords, and
Got
I
a better
think
deal.
that, okay, good. I think that would kind of, you know, make a nice impact for them, because they get a certificate and they get a pin. Where are they gonna wear the pin? Where they have the graduation cord. They're gonna be in line with all the honor students who are getting all this and that, and the band and, you know, career center cords and everything. And then they would get to
I
also
like
wear a cord.
And
like
be-
that.
And because our budgets are skewed, because we didn't actually award in this year, we've got the money in the 2023 budget, so I'm going to use that to go ahead and.
We have it in the 2023
Surplus.
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 We're
surplus.
good.
Okay, not budget.
So,
Yeah.
will we give cords to the one winner that we choose, or to all the participants?
All the participants.
Oh, that's cool.
That way,
That's
every
even
school,
better.
every school who attended, because the chapter winner, the only difference between all of them is the chapter winner is gonna get the
The
$250
money,
check.
the
So on
pin.
awards night, they will receive a certificate and a cord.
A certificate, their pin,
Every-
and a cord.
Every kid.
Every
And then one
kid
Yeah,
who's,
month.
for who, the school, when the school chooses their winner, they will let us know. And I've got 3 so far.
Okay.
And so, and 2 of them are doing the essay, and I haven't heard from the other 2, but,
And then
I
the
heard
winner
from them
winner
early.
will get the 250.
And then the
Our
one
chapter
winner
winner.
will get the 200, our chapter winner will get the 250.
If the 250 is approved.
Gotcha.
If it's
Yeah.
in approved. So, that's the change
And the pin
in-
is not to be sneezed at, because when I graduated, my mom made me this award board, and all the little pins that I had gotten for things were on my award board.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
pretty cool looking.
So those are the changes that I'm going to, propose to the chapter.
And that would be 4
In
high
November.
schools.
It went to 6.
Oh, that's a lot of
But
awards
only,
nights.
but only 4 responded
Oh,
So
so
far.
far.
so far.
Because the deadline is in November.
Yeah.
And so I had one emailed me today saying, okay, and we've got one, I got one right here. And I had another one email me today saying, just checking on the process, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like, they're working on it and they know what the deadlines are. I followed up with the emails, did all the emails to them. Oh yeah, we've got it, we're gonna do it and all that. So there's, not every week, but like every 2 weeks, they're getting the reminder, hey, just a reminder, your deadline's coming up, et cetera. And so that's just one email blast, boom, done. But it's still reminding them.
But your good citizen comes, it's just one, right? So matter,
Right.
if you send 6 schools out, it's still just one of those.
One winner, but
Right.
everybody's gonna get a certificate,
One
cord, and a pin.
scholarship winner,
One
Yeah.
scholarship.
Yeah.
yeah, and then the others get the pins.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So that's what we've got.
For you guys.
And I know as a high school
We love
student,
the
I would
work
take my
much.
one essay and make it apply for, I did the American Legion and I did the Voice of America and I did.
I did the same.
Everybody gets it.
Kind of tweaked it.
Kind of tweaked it here and there, yeah, I did the same.
Okay, so,
Printer.
I win essays in DAR now. I didn't do any high school ones. Which I didn't get a
You have a lot more to
certificate for, by the way, from
say.
state.
They didn't give you a certificate?
did we have any Founder's Day suggestions
She
for
didn't
next
bring
year?
them.
Did anybody have any of those?
I'm gonna suggest, same thing I suggested for this year, to go into the cemeteries and do the GPS for 1,000,000 graves and take pictures of, that are requested on Find a Grave.
Oh, wow.
There's lots of,
Cause there's a lot of
Requests.
little cemeteries that they would not, that they don't have a GPS coordinate to for a particular grave, or they don't have a particular picture posted available for online.
yeah.
So there's a lot of,
You'd have to know what's local, but
Yeah.
after doing that out,
if
then
you,
it's a matter of
if
just
you
doing it.
say on Billion Graves or, Find a Grave that are willing to volunteer to
You
go
get
out and do this,
lots
you
of
get lots of requests.
I'm,
And all these little tiny,
I admit, I'm one of
tiny
those
little
people.
cemeteries that are out there, you know, they're not documented, so we can go out as a group or as in pairs and maybe do it and cover, you know,
I
what's in
think-
your area.
I think they somehow know when you go to one of the cemeteries, cause I'm getting them from Round Hill, like
Are
every
you?
day now.
Well, they track you. When you
Request.
get there, they track you.
They do.
Yeah, you'll
It's like
Yeah.
Big Brother is following me
Yeah,
around.
if you got that app on your
I
phone.
do. I do,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's what I would
Okay,
suggest.
so that's
So
what
that's,
I,
cool.
that's one, that's
So
one
cemetery
suggestion.
GPS.
Cemetery
GPS.
coordinate,
Yeah.
The
photos.
GPS and
Photos.
pics, yeah.
Right,
Yeah. Another suggestion that came up, and this was from Elaine's correspondence with Bonnie Wooten when she was doing her veterans thing or whatever, and Bonnie Wooten said, don't forget that the Veterans House also has a hotel per se, where families can stay for free when they have extended care at the hospital, just like the Ronald McDonald House.
Oh.
And they need, their needs are more like snacks, quick meals, along with paper goods, laundry pods, coffee for their residents, and some organizations bring in pizzas or provide a dinner. And so I thought it would be
That'd be cool,
fun
too.
to do a dinner, you know, whether we do a spaghetti.
It's indoors.
You can do
Very nice.
spaghetti
Like
or
that.
something like that, and it would be, you know, again, we're under 2 umbrellas here. It would be veterans, and we'd have our Founder's Day for service to America. You know, and so that's just another thing, you know, we'd have to find out, you know, what do we gotta do to provide a dinner? Are we cooking stuff? Are we, cause like at Ronald McDonald House, they have chefs there, whatever, and
Wow.
you're under
Our
their
church used to
guidance,
do
all
that. We
that.
would bring hot boxes and we
Yeah.
would just feed, but you'd feed like 50 people.
And that's the thing, it's for large amounts of people and at the Ronald McDonald House.
I can cook.
Or they could do, box lunches, something like that, kind of assembly line
Do a
or
soup
whatever.
thing like
But
we just did.
the thing about the
That
Ronald
soup thing was
McDonald,
amazing.
the thing about the Ronald McDonald House is you can only have 6 people at a time.
Mm.
So the whole chapter can't go do that. So, that kind of took us off for that. So there's 2 suggestions that are already on the table that we will put to, the chapter and hopefully have them vote pretty soon so that we can get that off of our list.
We could do
as far
both
as-
things though, right? Or no, not two.
Well, the Founder's
Like
Day
one
is
for Founder's Day,
October
and then do
11th.
the
Yeah,
other
we could
day
always do the
for
other thing.
Veterans Day
Right.
or whatever.
We
Yeah.
could do them both and
And-
call it 2 different things and get
And
double
a
the
side
points.
note, for those of you who did not join us for Founder's Day at Teachers Treasures this year, you missed a good time, and that was an amazing place to volunteer, and they were so grateful.
And I put our name in to go dress up and read books at some of the Beech Grove schools because I recognized.
I
when
I
was
gave
at
that
schools.
note to the lady and she was so excited to get that.
So we'll see if I get any phone calls. I
You
just,
wanna elaborate what you're talking about?
the Teachers Treasures is what we did for the Founder's Day, and then
Yeah.
I gave them, there was teachers that were at our Beech Grove schools coming to shop for free. So I was quickly writing out a note, hey, Samuel Bryan chapter, we will dress up and come and read a book to your classroom, and they were like, oh my gosh, so I gave them my phone number, so we will.
And reading aloud to kids
Right.
is
Reading
one of
aloud
the
to
things that
kids.
are
They take
supposed to
donations
literacy.
from a lot of companies, a lot of businesses.
Lily's cleans up
Teachers
stuff.
Teachers
Yes,
Treasures.
all
Teachers
year,
came
in
down.
our meetings,
And
all
then-
year, we gathered things and then
And then
we
they
took
come
them
in
and helped
for free.
distribute them.
Oh, wow.
And for those of us from
And
smaller.
that's in Greenwood?
No, it's
on
at,
the east side.
It's on
Side
Side Street.
But for those of
10th
us
Street.
from smaller communities, they do pop-up stores. Like I'm
Yes.
trying to get them to come to Shelbyville to do
Miss
one,
Rushville.
or Rushville, or whatever.
Well, you know, Harcourt Outlines, one of my besties is Mary.
Oh, really?
Harcourt, yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, it was a really good
Good, I like
service project.
It was an excellent project.
Because we had ladies sitting at the front to greet the people, and all you did was you click on their name to check them in, then they were in, they go shopping, pick up all their goodies, and then the other ladies check them out with,
And it's more
With
just for
this-
inventory because it's all free.
and
That's
to check them
wonderful.
out.
It really is a
Great.
cool
Just
place.
saying
Yeah.
that they were there, and they get a paper that says, okay, when you go to this area or whatever, you get 3 of these. 3 is the max, and this one, you can have 10 or whatever. And so they come back and they give you that paper, and it has their name on there, and then you thank them, and they're done. And then while they're gone, you just take the paper, and they have a book right there that has the barcode for each one of these items that was on here. And so on the barcode, you go click to number 1, click number 2, click number 3, 4, 5, 6. And that was the extent of what we did. But it got people in real fast and out.
And they were
And-
pre-scheduled for their appointments, so it wasn't
That's
really
really
crowded.
cool.
Yeah, they
That's
pre-schedule them.
Well, what I really liked is there's a whole section of science stuff that is from Lily's.
they clean it.
They take all of
Beakers
their
and
old stuff
stoppers
and take it
and,
and professionally clean it and
Oh.
sanitize it and bring it there.
Wow,
My
so
kids
it's
at-
all grades.
My kids at Emmaus
Exactly.
Lutheran
Oh,
got that
okay.
stuff and used
I
it.
said, what are these wrapped boxes that everybody, I thought they were maybe a chemistry set. It was a whole set of, help me with the,
Bakers.
no, it was the little stuffed dog stuff that
Oh,
everybody.
Paw Patrol
Paw
stuff.
Patrol.
Paw Patrol
They
stuff
had
was
like
big.
books and activities and little animals, and they just had, these great big boxes, there were,
Oh, how
They had whole
nice.
sets
Some
of
them,
readers.
this huge thing that totally
Wow.
surprised me. They had this huge box, hangers.
Yes. Coat
I was,
hangers.
and every single teacher that
Yes.
came in there took hangers.
Well, you always want hangers,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
we have no
you
idea.
never think about that. but-
No, you don't.
Wow.
And
But
that's
anyway,
why
it
I
was
went
very,
and I
very
took
cool.
pictures of all this weird stuff and all the hand sanitizer and everything. So,
Yeah.
but Teachers Treasures was an absolutely wonderful, wonderful.
When I was teaching and I went to Teachers Treasures, I got a tank of helium.
And she made funny voices all day.
That's amazing. I was a teacher and I never knew about it. I
Do
was
they have
like,
any
I spent
helium
my
over
money.
there?
Well, I mean, when you think about it, you could donate almost anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I brought paper tubes because it's like, I
Egg-
can't throw away
Egg
paper
cartons.
tubes.
No.
Toilet
Yeah.
paper
And
rolls.
all the,
All that crafting
books,
Yeah.
if you have,
Any
they really want,
Magazines. Magazines. They want those.
magazines, books. books in different
American,
languages.
old American spirits.
That's
Yeah,
an
Shirley.
Oh, yeah, no
that
kidding.
they were doing.
My husband
Okay.
went to one of
10
those
minutes.
places
We need to get to
where
the
they
printer.
get
Okay, we gotta
pallets.
go, we gotta go.
He brings
Okay.
it home.
Anniversary dinner.
Sitting around.
Does it have to be in our little nest in Beach Grove or around close by?
Yeah, they'll take that.
Because I've seen a couple of places recommended for, does it have to
They
be
would take
like,
them off Facebook.
not
They
a
take-
bar, like they don't have alcohol or
It just has to be free.
just food?
We're not paying for a room.
Right, right.
Yeah,
got
I
that.
want it to be
Yes.
free.
Yes.
I also would like it to be more, private, where we can shut the door, not us being in a corner.
Ale Emporium, County Line and Emerald.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
they
nice
do
place.
have a
Guys.
private.
And
I love them.
they can configure a room to any size that we want.
I love them.
Where is it?
County line
can
County
keep
Line
this-
and Emerald.
If you guys wanna keep these, I
It's
don't need
across
these
from
back.
the Walmart.
That's, if you don't want to,
County
you
Line
don't
and
have to.
Emerson?
So it's
Okay.
considered Greenwood, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
And that's not far. I
Okay,
mean,
You can
so, I'll check into
wouldn't wanna
that
go to
one.
Michigan.
If we can't, then, we have the room over at Hornet Park. It's already reserved, but if we, I would prefer if we can go to, another place where we don't have to haul anything, set up
Mhm.
anything or whatever. But,
And they would want you to buy their food, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
yeah.
yeah, and you buy their food and be done. So, all right, we will check on that, and then I will report that at the, next meeting. And then, if Ale Emporium is not available or whatever, then, second, MCO wasn't available,
Binkley,
Binkley's.
it's,
Bing, please.
I can't remember, I can look, it's where it's at. I have been looking into it, cause I was asked to look into it last year.
Okay, so we'll check on those and then we'll present that over there. The other,
We're gonna do the printer.
Prior.
She's looking.
yeah,
So-
the printer.
Do you want me to speak on it since I know about it?
If you want to look at your,
This is what it
wreaths
does when you
wreaths
print
across,
it in
okay,
color.
Kim. The wreaths across America that you were given, you can see the red that is printing on the side of everything that's printed. Now, we cannot send anything to National or anything like that. We couldn't print our, programs because, it was printing all the way across. And so, tried cleaning it, used the recommendations to clean, it wouldn't clean.
I've run it through the cleaning process, that whatever that does. But like this is a black and white copy, so it's on the black and whites, but it doesn't do it all, it's odd, sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't.
It needs clean.
Yeah,
These
they
need to
tried
be
that.
cleaned,
They just
not
said-
mechanically clean.
Yeah,
not
but I
just-
don't know anything about
Yeah.
cleaning no
We
printers.
we called around to see, if any of these places would clean them, and they said no, because,
It's planned obsolescence, they want you to buy
Yeah.
one.
yeah, they want
Is it
you
old?
to,
No, it's 3 years old.
That's old enough.
no.
Yeah.
it's
They're
older.
3 years
disposable.
is older than
That's-
that. 3 years is
Four.
old.
It's been sitting.
They're-
the problem
they're
is it's been sitting.
disposable.
Yeah,
anymore.
I buy
Yeah.
a new
Hundred
printer
is
every
that
year
one.
because it's
Yeah.
cheaper than buying a printer.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about that.
So, we have found the same printer, I think it's Amazon or whatever, and it was $300, but it's, the printer and,
Honestly,
Yeah.
as a registrar,
Yeah.
I just seen you pay for me to have ink when I need it. I mean, I don't print much for my own self. Most of the stuff I print, but I could try and keep, I mean, once or twice, once a year, if you bought me ink, I have a professional printer. But it's up to you. If you want to buy a printer, I have space in my office. I can have a printer. the problem, and I print enough now as a registrar again, that the ink would stay fluid. That's the problem with a ink, not an inkjet, or
Is yours is it a laser printer or an inkjet printer?
it's an HP inkjet.
With the
Because you
little
go
cartridges.
through the inkjet a lot
Okay.
more
Is
than.
this-
And honestly, I guess I'd rather you buy a printer than trying to
Yeah.
keep me in ink, because
This-
then I have to keep it
So
separate,
is it
so
something
And then your
we
printer
can
will break
order
down,
from
then what?
Walmart?
I'd buy a new one.
Because I
Because you
get
get
a
your
dis-
discount, yeah.
I don't know.
I
if
bet so we
or
can
not.
look
We'd
into
have
it.
to look.
The price that you had there, does that include ink to get us going, or is that,
They usually.
how much are we
I
talking
think
all
I think
in?
it comes
That's a real
with like
starter
a
ink.
small.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something
sample.
The
thing.
baby.
So to get it, yeah, so to get us going, we're talking about the 350, not 350 plus 200 for new cartridges to get us going.
So I just bought an HP printer and they gave
Yeah.
me 6 months of free ink,
They do that now,
Yeah.
a subscription
Yeah.
thing.
but I have to cancel it or else it's just gonna be
Right.
ongoing.
And
I've bought that
so
subscription,
the
it's very
ink
good.
is,
Mhm.
I just had on here, when we have to place an order for ink for this type of printer,
It
it's
would be
$200.
And you're a
Okay.
laser,
Oh,
and that's the
and
laser
that's the
printer.
laser
Okay.
printer.
It was
And-
more than,
But it lasts a lot longer than
Sure.
inkjet.
If-
And so I think we need to be looking around for another printer because we cannot send anything, her applications or whatever to.
which after it ate the first one, I always printed apps on my other
Okay.
printer.
So should I make a motion that we this is not a motion yet, so don't look at me yet. Designate up to $350 for a new printer to be spent in 2023 because we've got the money. We'll ask the chapter obviously, but to move that, since it was not a line item. But I would feel comfortable going ahead and getting it done in 2023.
And as treasurer, we have enough for that.
Yeah, we'll find
Okay.
it.
We'll find it somewhere.
Yeah, and if we
It's
could do
fine.
it by Cyber Monday, we could
Exactly.
get a good deal.
Oh, that's a good
Exactly.
idea.
When is
That's, so if we,
Walmart.
So
When
if we
is
know
that?
it now, and
it's
the
the
Monday
Monday
after
after Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
So we'll
So
recommend
no
to
shopping
the chapter that we need $350, approximately $350 for a new printer.
Yeah.
Yes.
For the
And I don't
chapter.
think you need to make a motion. Don't make
You think
the
it's
move
just
anything
going
here.
to be-
It's the same as when it comes out of committee,
There you go.
you know.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
So-
Then just do it. Yeah.
yeah, okay, so we'll add that to the agenda
Here she
if we
comes.
have that.
Yeah.
We're gonna wrap up soon.
Suzanne,
is
you
all
want a
yours.
doorstop?
You want this pile of money over here?
I'm gonna have to waddle to the bathroom as it is. Go ahead.
Is that
Okay.
you all clear or not clear?
Should be like changing the pins, woman. That's what that's called.
So your yearbook is done now?
I don't know.
I sent Patty the latest revision last
Okay.
night, so
So-
if she gives the okay, it's done.
Okay,
No,
no, it's
no,
not done.
it's not.
Okay. So there's
Um,
more updates.
There's more updates.
Okay,
I need more of these little paper sliver things, cause
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
and I will email those to you. I also requested a Word version of the yearbook, and I didn't get that.
Can you do a J, like that word? Okay.
I'm good.
Not JPEG.
So-
JPEG's
Not
not,
JPEG?
No,
JPEG's not
just a
editable.
Word.
She wants something that's
Oh,
editable,
editable herself.
editable.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
And so I will email you with those changes. And, once those changes are made, then, it should be go, we'll get those changes, 'cause
Is that something that we want to pretty up?
Pretty what?
Pretty up? I saw a thing on our new, what
online
is it
community.
called? Online community
Isn't this Molly?
about,
Is this Molly?
I guess to have a a contest for yearbooks,
Yeah.
which I didn't know anything about.
Yeah, they
But
do.
I could take a Word
That's
document
the
and dump it into
You
the
change
program
that.
that I use and lay it out and make it fancy. I don't know if that's.
Well, when it comes through the cover, it has a certain criteria, you can't change the cover.
Well, I wouldn't change anything,
Well,
just like brand. With DAR logos and colors.
I think it already kind of
Fancy
comes with
schmancy
a lot.
stuff.
yeah,
Doing anything?
Let it come through this time and then you can see what she produces and then.
Okay.
and then-
yeah.
I mean, I could take any PDF and dump
Go
it
back
in.
at the VISs and look at the directions that came through a few months back. And take a look and see if that's
Oh, I just
doable.
realized you got a Disney. on
Yeah,
there.
I would-
Because
We made it.
Because we can't put
It's a knockoff Disney.
anything
Oh,
on the
wow.
cover.
Like a little-
The lady
little
that
fortress thing.
posted online was from the VIS, and she said
Castle.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but every state's different, has different.
Okay, so, the yearbook needs to be completed and and then I
A
need
bid
the
dollar.
Word document of that, once it's completed.
Is there a deadline? for that?
Yes, there is. But the
Um,
deadline is to me, and I'm the one that fills out the paperwork. So if you can get it to me, if you can go through that and see if there's changes, but Molly, if you can just get it to me, I'll give you guys credit for having it here in time. Okay?
Okay.
It doesn't have to, just get it to me, and I'll handle it.
That's, most of it's already done.
Am I
No,
in
no
there?
offense, Kim.
Am I in
but-
there?
Yeah, you're in here, Kim, but is it prematurely, you wanna go ahead and place it in here, cause it's not, we haven't voted on it or anything.
We did at
We did,
We did.
right
the
here.
executive board. It,
The executive board.
yeah,
did.
Okay.
I will go to vote next.
She'll go to vote the
March.
next
This is
annual
easy.
meeting. Yeah.
I mean,
that's-
and it's already halfway done, so.
Yeah. So if you can,
Good.
yeah. if
Do you have
can
my
just get
information
that,
correct?
And then send me the document, send it to Patty, then I'll make sure, and then I don't care what you guys, what you do with the rest of it. Once I get it, I'm gonna
It'll be
give you
done
credit,
tomorrow, no
so
big deal.
it's no big deal. Okay, perfect.
Okay, what else have we missed? I have a list of, based on Paula's budget, submissions. I have a list that I'm gonna present to the chapter. I can't find what I did with it. But it just lists all of the activities that we want to do, for next year. And it just lists it all on one page so that at the chapter meeting, instead of every chapter meeting, okay, we wanna do this, so we're gonna vote on this. And then the next month, we wanna do this, so we're gonna vote on this. And these are things that we normally do for everything, or every year or whatever. And so I'm just going to present one thing that says, yep, we're gonna do the Patriot Day this year, we're going to do the Constitution Week, and we're gonna do, all these things. So all of those are gonna be listed on there, so we can, bam, we're done, everything's approved for the year, we don't have to worry about it. And then if something comes up, that, an activity or whatever that we want to do, then, obviously we can vote on it at that time,
When are you gonna present that at
in
November's?
the November meeting.
Okay, so Molly, if you are going to get something in on the budget and you have something in mind, then we can get that on that list as well, so
Okay.
For next year.
for next year.
Mhm.
And I know we're over time for them, but I will just say this from my phone calls that I make to people. Some of the older members say, I wish we had more social things. I'm like, what are you talking about? She says, well, like where you call each other up and say, let's all go to lunch. I said, that sounds like something that just friends do.
Yeah.
But,
Suzanne will meet anybody at the Thirsty
but
Turtle,
they kind of
right?
saw it as because it was all internal to
Because
them.
that's the way it used to be.
Right.
That's the way DAR used to be. It was a
Right.
social event. You had it in the afternoons.
Mhm.
Women, had snacks, and then they left and went.
Marymount
And then
Green still does.
Now,
Mhm.
yes. And now it's more of a
Well, I thought I should
service.
just share that because that's another, little
Mhm.
aspect. but-
And that's not true.
And that's
But
one
you're
of
right,
The
those,
way it is
everybody
changing
says
but
that.
that's one of those
The way
things
it is
that we
changing.
The next
can,
time I'm going to the Thirsty Turtle.
if it comes up or whatever, it's one of those, hey, we're all going here, there, whatever. But based on the fact that a lot of these dinners, et cetera, that we plan, we get 0 participation.
Right.
So, not gonna be planning food
No,
things
it's
or
not from
whatever, but
high
if
up, but, you
everybody
know.
wants to go to lunch or something somewhere, that, you know, knock yourself out. But,
Maybe
have
as
field
chaplain,
trips.
I can just mention.
we
Hey,
could
you
get
guys,
used to
you
do
have a
that.
special
We
event here,
tried.
get together in between.
No.
We did.
They used to like field trips.
Okay,
Okay.
we got,
Oh,
We still haven't approved
okay,
board
ladies,
meetings.
we've got, our board meeting minutes from August that still need to be approved.
No, from April.
I got August.
We
We
haven't
have to
seen
do
the
both.
corrected yet.
We have April and August that
She
needs to be approved.
sent that out earlier, didn't you?
No, August was just sent out.
Just
Oh.
sent out.
April is
Okay.
leftover from April.
Right. Well, yes.
I only
Because
printed
Molly had a
August.
bunch of changes, and then Patty has gone through. Did we send these back out, or do you have copies?
I don't
You
have
don't-
copies.
You don't your board member minutes, you don't leave out. I mean, you don't let the members see the
No.
board
No.
minutes, right? That's okay. Good.
So are you talking
Yeah.
board minutes or meeting minutes?
Board minutes.
Board.
Oh, I don't know nothing about no board minutes.
are
Yeah,
just
you weren't
yours.
here, so you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Just you guys.
I'm gonna
And
close
then,
my
I only
ears.
looked at August, but August was thumbs up
Do
for
they
me.
have to be approved after every meeting, or since they're just,
They do.
okay.
Yeah. So, you emailed these, right? Did you
No.
email?
I got the August
I
one.
received
Oh,
the
yeah.
August, but not
Not
the,
the
Corrected.
changes that you proposed to Molly's changes, cause I sent the meeting minutes out
So you sent the
And then
original,
Molly
and then
came
Molly
to the
retyped
next
them.
meeting and what changes. And then we got the Word document last week, and you sent me
Mhm. These are
your
board
changes,
meetings.
but I did not email them to anyone.
no, so we haven't seen the corrected ones.
For
Or
April.
change.
For
April.
For
August.
April, yes.
For
No,
April.
I need to
April.
put my
Or
plate out
April.
so that the lady
August I
can
did send
clean up
out
her dishes.
yesterday.
August you did send out,
Yeah.
okay. So, for the August meeting minutes, there are, action items in red. They're put on there. You got that?
We haven't seen them
I sent them yesterday by email.
yesterday. The August ones.
August.
Yeah.
Oh,
August
okay.
2nd.
Okay, August,
Or,
okay.
no, that's a regular.
Yeah,
Okay.
August 29th. what it
Yeah,
is.
I-
Yeah, from
Yeah.
August 29th.
August 29th.
Okay.
I sent those out, but April I have not sent to anybody.
Well, I did see some differences from from my reporting, so, here's a copy. And I was running out of ink as well, so,
Pesky ink.
and,
Yeah, I
So
couldn't
I
even
want-
print mine in color because I don't have any color.
Okay, this is August.
this is for August, yeah, and I received this yesterday.
Yes.
And I.
And yours
went-
are in red,
No,
yours are in blue.
I am in blue.
Well, yeah, because the action
Yeah,
items
and,
were in
and I
red.
apologize, I was running out of ink. And, but I saw some differences in the format and in the sequence and a few items that were needed.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Added.
That's something that I want to address. Okay? Gina is the recording secretary,
Yes,
okay? And formatting of it, the sequence of it, the conversations, you know, it does not have to be verbatim. Okay? And verbatim would be for motions. If there's some motion that needs to be made, or, you know, that has to be verbatim as far as what the chapter voted on or what the board voted on. But you going in and retyping the meeting minutes every month it doesn't sit well with me for you to say to Gina, she's not doing her job. Now, these changes, does it change the context of anything that was said? Or is it just, this was said before this one and this was said before that?
On a few items, it has changed.
It changes the outcome.
Yes. It was slanted in a different way.
It was slanted?
Yes, maybe it was just a choice of verbiage, but it gives a different connotation of what
Now, who's red?
those are just action items that Patty
Those are
did.
action
Oh,
items.
okay, okay.
So you guys have
When-
red and blue, and they just have black.
Yeah,
Okay,
just have red and
'cause
black.
see, you know, again, you present this like this, okay? So now, in order for everyone to be able to review this, we have to table approving the minutes again. And now we're in, we won't be meeting again until January, February, or whatever.
What system do you use, Gina, to, what, Google? You do Google Docs, everybody has
Word.
access
Mhm.
to Google Docs, everybody in here?
Mhm.
Okay, so prior to a meeting, if you haven't, I mean, this is just, I'm just giving opinions, okay? It's forbidden. Maybe rather than presenting it like this at a meeting, at a board meeting, you could contact Gina and say, hey, I noticed that maybe we could change the verbiage on this a little bit because I
Yes.
feel like it slanted a different way than what was intended. And then Gina can go through and change her stuff. And then by the time it gets to the board or Patty,
It's been corrected.
it's been corrected.
And one thing we have to keep in mind too, that minutes do not need to reflect emotion. And I think that's been
No,
part of,
no.
but the fact is, whoever is the recording secretary of this board or any other, we have to give them a level of
Their
trust
level.
that we have voted the confidence, in this case, in Gina, to actually record it as is.
It's her job.
It is
It's
her
her
job.
job.
If something was being omitted altogether, that would be, I mean, if it's a huge omission or something, then it would need to be addressed, especially if it was an ongoing thing. But we definitely need to be careful, slanted, not slanted. I can read what you say completely different as what she says, even if the words are the same.
These are your
That's-
executive minutes.
Exactly.
Right?
Mhm.
Okay, well, the thing with the executive board, it's you guys. You are all here. You heard it. You saw it. Now, the only time minutes really even come into play is if there's a question about how something was done. Now, I think in this case, there was a question, not so much these particular minutes, but prior, about that round tree, right? So that would be a situation where you would wanna come back to your minutes, but unless it changes the whole scenario of what you did in a board meeting, it's not necessary to put everything down. In fact, this is a lot of minutes. I mean, our board minutes, our state board minutes are not this long.
Right.
So,
Right.
and they're not this long either. I mean, the original ones, they're not that long either. There's just a lot of information there. So what you need to remember is, you might have said this, or somebody said something else, but if it's not conducive to operating the chapter, it doesn't need to be in the minutes. Because if it is conducive, it'll be in there. I mean, like you said, you know your job, that's your job, that is what you do. And so but I would say this to any of you, if you look at these, and she sends them out on this Google Doc, or everybody has access to it, you all said you did. So if you look at it and you think, oh my gosh, any of you find something that you think changes what you meant as a board, then you should contact Gina and say, hey, did you hear it like this? Or contact Patty and say, Patty, what do you think? You know, would it be better for us to do this? If you feel comfortable doing that, do that. But it's really not a good plan to present them like this, because you're right, it does just limit to what you can pass, and it just kind of carries it over, and then more people think of more things. And so I would suggest that everybody before a board meeting get on the Google document and but this
Or let's just
is
be bullet
excessive.
points.
Yeah,
right?
this is excessive.
Right.
And quite frankly, the original is excessive. We don't even have this big a minute, I mean, at a state board. So, just kind of keep it
Too much
relaxed.
detail.
Keep it relaxed, but on the same token, important things
Right.
need to be there. Like, important things are that Round Hill is gonna be paid for out of America 250. That is something that's important, so you wanna put that in there.
Right.
But as far as saying, anything else,
And back to the original comment, I'd also ask when it comes to treasurer's information, that if you're going to have questions, you don't just bring it and spring it. The gotcha stuff at meetings is a personal pet
It-
peeve, because believe it or not, I don't have it all memorized.
yeah.
I have access to a lot of it, but I do need to have,
But, and you're right,
Yeah.
that is a great point, and that's a great point because you are, again, your chapter's board. You're your chapter's leaders, everybody has felt like that you are a great person to take care of. And so, and they feel confident that you can do your jobs. So, when you go to a chapter and you do spring stuff, any of you spring stuff on somebody else, then in the chapter's mind, they're like, oh, did she not remember that?
Mhm.
And it's not because you didn't, it's just because you're right. You
Right.
don't remember everything. You don't remember anything. Nobody remembers everything. So it's good to have somebody to tell you, but I would suggest that we do it prior to a meeting so that because frankly, you could have, if this was smaller or not this, you could have done it like that. I mean, it'd be overdone, you're ready to go for the next month.
And this is prep for the big meeting.
Yes.
So like, this is
Yeah.
why we got.
And I totally agree with you, Lisa, but if you would look back at our board minutes history, these minutes have not been this excessive until this past year.
Yeah,
Aw.
well, I don't know, cause I mean, obviously,
I know you
have
don't.
sex.
You
I
only
don't
see a
have-
few.
But it is on a Google Doc, and I don't like Google Docs either, so we'll head that up. But it is on a Google Doc, so you
I
do
just
have
followed
access.
what the previous,
Yeah.
recording secretary
Well,
did.
and it's okay. I mean, you're putting in the stuff that is important, but it's not. These are not arm and legs.
Right.
Okay, there is nothing in any minutes and state two that's ever gonna make a huge difference in the world or how we live, okay? So,
we ain't saving
don't-
babies or sending them to
Yeah.
Jesus.
Our
Well,
souls.
yeah, and so, don't get caught up in doing that, because what you want is just a record of what you talked about, briefly, okay?
Keep
so-
it brief.
Yeah.
Thank you for the master's class in running this committee.
No,
But
I'm only
everything
here,
that's
I'm just here to help, and I think you guys do a great job. And it's hard when you get so many women together that it's, it's just hard.
We're all leaders.
It's women.
Yeah.
Women,
Right.
yeah.
It's women, I'm
Uh,
sorry.
Personalities, and
Okay,
so-
one last thing is officer protocol. I am the regent. If I request something, I'm not requesting for shits and giggles. I am trying to keep the business portion of our meeting, of our chapter, moving and not let all the balls fall to the ground. I have a lot of balls up in the air. I have a lot of conversations with different people, different entities, and if I request something, I expect it to be submitted, replied to, not ignored, and the information that I asked for.
And she's correct. If she asked for it, like I said, you wouldn't ignore your boss. You wouldn't not talk to your CEO. If they ask you a question, you would answer. And it may be something you have to look up, and that's fine. But you contact her and you say, hey, I gotta look this up, it may be 2 days before I can get back to you, or I'm gone and I'm not gonna be able to get back to you. I mean, these are all volunteer positions, but she is your regent, she's your boss. I mean, we're all volunteers, and I hate to call it a boss situation, but she is, she's your regent. And so, she runs the show, until she doesn't want to anymore, I'm guessing. But, for right now, so she needs to have your support, but all of you have equal say, but she
And-
doesn't wanna not know something.
And it's not that I run the show. I'm just the figurehead of the chapter, and I'm the one who is accountable for everything that goes on. And if something falls through the cracks, I have to find a way to pick it up or fix it or address it or whatever. I'm never saying that I am running the show, because that's the whole purpose of us having multiple committees doing different things. I don't want to do everything. I seriously do not want to do everything. I want everyone else to use their own talents as far as what their expertise is in whatever. You know, we've got ladies who are behind the scenes, they just want to be busy bees and help do this. We have, other ladies who, our virtual assistant over here. She does, amazing job with the website and all of our electronic communications and stuff. I don't have to worry about that because I know she's taking care of it. But it's when I can't get my stuff done in a timely manner, or when someone higher than me is asking for this or that or whatever, and if I can't get it, and if I'm ignored, that is 100% unacceptable.
And she's right. That's right.
And moving forward, if anyone has a problem with anything that I've asked for, please let me know. If you can't get it, I'm out of town. I'll get back to you. Just don't ignore me. Because at that point, I'm out of town. Okay, when can I expect it since you're out of town? Because I need it by such and such date. I give anybody who I ask anything of, I give a very clear deadline as far as when I need it. And I am not gonna ask you, I need this tomorrow. We have too many things that are out farther that I can give you a lot longer deadline. But I appreciate it, and everyone here on this board knows how I work as far as I like to get it done, over with, off of my plate, then I don't have to worry about it. But I think everybody knows how let's go ahead and do it, get it done. You don't have to mess with it, I don't have to mess with it, and it's done. But it's the ignoring of a request that is clear insubordination. And as the regent, I have a problem with that.
Everybody good with that? Understands, right? Everybody's good with that?
Thank you, ladies. Anybody have
When do you want
anything
our
else?
report?
Anybody have anything else?
Veterans Day program at Beech Grove City Hall will be at 11 on 11.
Okay, you can announce that at the meeting.
At 11,
Letting-
11.
11, yeah.
That works.
Has he invited?
I don't know, I just thought I'd throw it out there to the membership here, and then you'll have to bring it up at the meeting, because it's my birthday
Is
weekend,
it
I'm not
gonna
gonna be
be
there.
like the one we did?
No, well, it's outside, and
It's not a big one.
No.
I think.
not like the unknown soldier one.
The unknown soldier won't be that big.